welcome to D&D with Kristi. It's time to play some D&D, and so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna hand it over really quick to Yella, because he's gonna give us the recap of last week's episode.
So last week we fought some drow, got our ass kicked. Then Ibarra somehow made a deal with the drow, so maybe that's gonna be a job later, who knows. After which we went back to the old haunt, where we met Jolly, who is right about to give us his life story, or actually gave us his life story and is now giving us information about Xanathar.
Yeah, that's true. After our D&D session Saturday night, R&D, who might be watching now, I don't know what time he shows up, right away or a little bit later on, but he said, yeah, I watched Kristi almost kill her players this week. And I went, okay, to be fair, they almost killed themselves. It wasn't like I set out to attack them. So, but I know R&D found it very entertaining. So hi, R&D, if you're listening.
Yeah, he was making fun of us the entire time, just so you know. And I was just like, thanks. Good to know one of my best friends is making fun of me as I am actively dying.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there as characters when we go into a party situation, be like, oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, so I think what we left off was Jolly was about to tell you guys how the Stone of Golorr came to be in the pocket of a gnome that died in your back alley. Or the back of Trollskull Alley, I should say.
Yeah.
So the setting is it's now gone a little bit after midnight. You guys are sat around what is kind of like the informal discussion table downstairs, which is a little bit separate from your more business area that's being created in your common room on the next level. But this is closer to the bar. You guys have had a long day. Thelvar has a pretty strong drink, a few fingers deep, as does Clue, as does Jolly. And yes.
Before we get going, I don't know if this is deliberate, but you've got visuals for the wrong game up on the YouTube stream.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you're right. I forgot that I did the wrong, I've got so many scenes. So, boom. There we go. That's the one. Should be better now. Give it a few seconds. Yeah, it's the one without Chrisiosity.
Yes.
I have some called like D&D opener, but then ours is called LG Screen Book Club, so it's not because normally it's just me without like a camera, so it should be fixed now. And thank you for bringing that to my attention.
That's okay.
Excellent. Right, yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
I would like to point out that because right before before we broke, Mara broke Hibara. Like, the revelation that she's not a city person. 2, she comes from a monastery, and for Hibara, like, monastery equals commune, so Mara equals the same as Hibara in her mind.
Okay.
And now then she goes and starts talking to herself, and now Hibara is just, what is this person? What is going on? What has happened? What she is confused and broken at this point.
Her world has been rocked.
Pretty much. She may not hear anything that this guy is about to tell them.
Oh, fair. I mean, Hibara's had a pretty heavy night. You know, she had to wild shape into one of her forms and then fell asleep in a pocket and burst out of it. You know, like,
it's been a very busy day.
It has been an incredibly busy day, and now this emotional stress. Like, you thought you understood the world, and now it's just all been ripped out. All the rug has just been ripped out from underneath her. It's chaos. She's falling. Exactly. So you guys might need to recap the Jolly thing again. Yeah. So you guys are on the table. There's Hibara made the fire very, very bright. So the downstairs area, although mostly engulfed in darkness because of the lack of light from the windows and the largeness of the room, still has a kind of a cozy feeling, almost like a ski lodge kind of at night feeling. All right, well, so what I'm about to tell you is it's not all first-hand knowledge. In fact, I didn't know about any of this until people in the Xanathar Guild were ordered to keep a lookout for a gnome of Dalakar's description. So what I'm telling you in the first part is mostly what I heard from gossip, because I don't know if you guys have been in the game very long, but there's nobody who loves to gossip more than mercenaries and thugs and people who depend on a sword for a living, because they've got to know who dislikes who and what factions and disagreements they can profit from. So word gets around in the Xanathar Guild, as I imagine it must in quite a lot of other criminal organizations. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm just telling you how I put this information together. It might not be accurate, but I'll tell you what I know. So after Neverember, Daggett, Neverember was exposed and his thieving and everything else, and he was kicked out of Waterdeep and took up full-time residence over at Neverwinter. We the stone itself was held in safekeeping for a while, but then it was stolen and then it disappeared. Apparently, I don't know if it was in one person's pocket or several people's pockets or whatever, but a couple weeks ago it managed to land in the pocket of Xanathar. Very happy to have it, but was unsure entirely of how to access the money, and so he was holding on to this information. He's trying to get a little bit more before he acted on it, and decided that a good strategy would be to recruit the old servants of Neverember. So there were several of Dagolt's old employees that were approached. They'd been made unemployed because he was now in Neverwinter, and if they didn't want to leave the city and go there, they didn't have a job here with him being kicked out and all. So, yeah, Dalakar ended up getting recruited by the Xanathar Guild. Now, I guess in retrospect, there's got to be a question there if Xanathar was really using Dalakar to get information on Neverember, or if Neverember actually told Dalakar to go work for the Xanathar just to see what he knew. I mean, that's up for speculation, but he was brought on to the organization, and turns out he ran the kitchen and the catering in the Neverember household, and did a pretty good job. I think I mentioned before, Xanathar gets through quite a lot of staff, so having somebody who knows which fork went with which serving and all that would be pretty handy for him. So he was pretty quickly put in charge of not only like occasionally going out and trying to spy on Renier Neverember when he was out shopping or under the guise of shopping, but he also did put on several meals and prepared food for Xanathar. Then, well, you guys probably know, well, you know as a Zent, there's a faction in the Zents. There's a Erstal Floxen leading a group, wants to basically kick out the Doom Raiders. They want to take over Waterdeep for themselves, and they were willing to ally with the Xanathar to do it. These negotiations were pretty testy, a lot of false starts, but eventually the two sides sat down. They met in Xanathar's, I don't know what you call it, headquarters or office or sanctum or whatever, had a meal and had a whole evening negotiating and coming to an agreement on how they were going to work together. That was ran actually by Dalakar. He's the one who helped organize that dinner. That was the last time anyone saw him in the Xanathar organization. He disappeared that night. The next day, the Xanathar realized that the Stone of Golorr had been taken. His first thought was that the Zents had did it. Nobody really noticed Dalakar being missing the first day. In fact, it took them a couple, 2-3 days before they even realized he was gone. But by that point, the Civil War, well, at least the gang wars that's been running in the city the last couple weeks, were well and truly on their way and had a life of their own. So it was several days until people put 2 and 2 together. Xanathar figured out that maybe it was Dalakar that had stolen the Stone of Golorr. didn't want to stop fighting the Zents at that point, and animosity had run too deep. But he put a lookout notice out for all of us. If we were to see him, or anyone associated, like that we knew of who might have known him, or places that he went, ask around for him, but none of us ever did. I don't know where he went. He had some good friends in Waterdeep. We had an eye on all the gates. He hadn't left the city, as we know now. He appeared a couple days ago, here in Trollskull Alley, heading in your direction at least. Probably had heard while he was in hiding that you guys had rescued his former employer's son, who was quite fond of, I'm told. And yeah, that's how he got to your backyard, through his associations with the Xanathar and the opportunity to steal the Stone of Golorr.
Interesting.
So that's what I know.
Well, thanks for the information. Definitely handy.
Indeed.
So, when I have things planned out for getting you out of the Xanathar, how do I contact you?
Well, knowing where you guys were located, the Xanathar has put out an extra alert out now for Erstil Fluxen and his crew. Because he surfaced and was listed in the papers, and his picture was drawn and included, that's put us all on high alert, and it makes Xanathar think that Erstil Fluxen has the stone again, which is what set the Civil War off to start with. He's posted people all throughout the city. Keep an eye on groups that we think, or individuals that we think might be had worked with him in the past, had kind of business relationships or some sort of safe house. I asked for the detail here in the North Ward because I knew you guys were located here. And my job is to keep an eye on Growlhund, the compound that's a couple streets over. So for most days I'm going to be keeping an eye out there. We've got it in shifts. I take the early evening to like the early morning, and then I find reasons to stay in the North Ward, one of our hideouts I sleep in. But we're mostly supposed to be keeping an eye out for Erstil Fluxen. That's pretty much our full-time jobs now, given what money is rumored to be at stake here. 500,000 dragons.
Yeah, smart move. Well, I'll find you when I've got a plan sorted out. I'll make sure you get a good job with the Zents.
All right, well, I appreciate that. And like I said, I don't trust being in Waterdeep. I'll need to go someplace else and help with a new identity, ideally.
We'll see what I can get.
All right, well, I thank you guys. Hope we can, have a good, productive relationship. I know it's not easy to trust somebody who betrays people, but that's why I wanted to get to know you guys a little bit, assess you, and have you guys know a little bit about why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I found myself in this mess in the first place.
That's quite understandable.
So he finishes the rest of his drink, just sort of knocks it back with one swig, sets the glass down, not hard or anything. He makes eye contact with each of you and sort of nods and gets up and leaves out the back door.
He doesn't make eye contact with Ibarra.
She's not looking, she's staring off. Yeah, yes. He can look at her direction, but she's just like, oh my god, monastery. Right, yeah. So you guys can talk amongst yourselves, or whatever you want to do now. Got a little break.
Mara's still in a dress, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. She's still rocking that dress.
Wait, did Clue undo the disguise self? He
How
did.
long does it last?
8 hours.
Midnight? No, it would still be going if he hadn't changed it during the course of the battle or something. Or lost concentration.
So Jolly was just talking to a Clue that looked like completely different from the one that just did not react. Just like, must have been expected.
Yep.
These people
Made
are
a very
crazy.
good perception check.
The only one who looks probably regular is Thelvar and Hibara.
Well, she still is green.
Yeah, she is. She's got like another 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's powerful, of course, for Hibara.
You kind of, yeah. So.
Well, there was definitely some useful information.
Uh-huh.
Well, we're not gonna be doing anything with it today, at the very least.
Oh, definitely not. I don't know about anyone else, but I think I really need to get some shut-eye. It's been a rough night.
Yep.
So you guys want to just like turn in for the evening?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So you can leave the fire to go. It will burn itself out. And if it doesn't, if there's still some embers, then the Bobs will use that in the morning to make another fire. Yeah, you guys all get up, go to your beds, and except for Hibara, who's gonna trance.
Yeah, just no. She's just
As
everyone else gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
She's stuck there.
Okay, it's just gotta work this out.
She has to work this out for a couple hours more.
Mara just kind of looks at Hibara and is just like, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right, yeah, so Clue and Thelvar, you both have actually a very good night's sleep. Clue, you have a dream that you are like walking in a woods and you're trying to find a path, and there are many faint sort of paths, like very light ones that have been trodden before you. Is that the right past tense for tread? And the path, eventually though, you start to see that it's getting more obvious and deeper, and you finally kind of break out onto the woods and you're on this path. And as you walk along this path, you feel like okay, yes, I'm on the right path now. By the way, do you have any inspiration? You currently have inspiration?
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, to use it. Okay, this is
yeah.
All right. So you feel very refreshed with some sparkly. Your inspiration feels very sparkly. Thelvar, you have a dream that you are sat in. It's sort of like the back garden of your childhood, but also kind of a generic one. Like, it doesn't necessarily look like the one from your childhood, but that's the one you feel that you're in. And you are sat on this sort of tree swing that is there, and in your hands are the letters that your mother, the correspondence that you recently discovered, and all of the information that you learned about what she had learned. And as you are looking at it, you feel two hands touch your shoulders, and Thelvar sort of feels like a maternal sense of comfort, and almost like a feeling of being pleased that you had found this information. That this isn't something that she felt like you shouldn't have seen. She's glad that you found it. And then she also, you see a sort of a hand, it might be her hand, with a letter in it. And it's like one more correspondence that she adds to your pile. And then you feel the hand draw back and pat on the shoulders, and then you wake up with inspiration.
Thank you.
So Mara's got 3 inspiration. I have no idea. She can have a very, very restful night's dream, but she's got like God's trying to get them on her side, and she is just ignoring them. So you, Mara, have a very restful night. Nothing in particular like stands out in your dream symbolically, but you do feel very, very refreshed the next.
Can I say a dream?
Yeah, sure. Go, please. That helps me.
All right, awesome. Mara finds herself at a table. The being sitting across from her, which she's had this dream before, but most of the time, the being is kind of a red cloud. This time, the being has taken shape. She's beautiful beyond reason, dressed in some kind of red garb. I still have yet to figure out what outfit this woman is wearing. And she sits there, looking at Mara, and the words, "It's good to finally see you face to face, child. I hope you are prepared for what's coming next." And Mara and then the dream, like, they just kind of sit there. Like, it's a conversation. Like, Mara's had this dream forever and a day. And the fact that when she wakes up, it's more of she has not a feeling of foreboding, but more of a feeling of shit's gonna hit the fan at some point, and she doesn't know when.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you for doing that. I love that. I mean, for your character, I know you have a specific arc, or at least some things going on in her backstory. So your contribution like that actually is really, like, I appreciate it very. And I'm just looking. So, and then I just clicked on the picture that Corey sent with Hibara's, the face that Hibara had been looking at Mara with, which is hilarious. Oh, that's so good. All right. So are we all here? Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Hibara, how do you spend your trance time? That's the word I was looking.
So after a couple hours of just blue screening, she slaps herself and is like, "No, we'll deal with that later." And she's gonna sneak up, and I'm assuming Mara didn't lock her door, right?
No.
Yeah. She's gonna attempt to sneak into Mara's room.
Oh, goody. This isn't gonna go well.
All right, so you want to roll, Mara, roll perception with disadvantage because you're asleep. Okay. Something might wake you up, so let's see what the dice have to say.
I don't know how to roll with disadvantage.
If you hit your stealth, and if it only comes up once, then just hit it again, and we can talk to me about the settings for that later.
Wait, what?
In your just click your stealth in your character sheet. In your ability checks.
Perception.
Sorry, yes, perception. Sorry, I was thinking about the setting that does disadvantage. Yeah, so that's it. So you got an 11 and she got a 7. So yeah, Mara, you sort of like hear something and you sort of like startle, like, and you've just had this dream with this woman who's talking to you now, and then you sort of like feel some presence in the room with you.
I'd be fine with the door creaking open.
Probably.
Yeah, what does it? So yeah, just gonna sneak in. And where's Gorko?
Oh, his bed is basically, it's a kind of a trundle bed. So when he pulls it out,
Mara, to the side of hers.
It's sort of
the
like
foot of her.
I would say more at the side, but the way I picture it is that the side faces the door. So it's not like he's between the wall and the bed. It's like a normal bed, and then the trundle bed pulls out from underneath, and he sort of sleeps to sort of her side, but slightly shorter so she can get out of bed. But we can change that, but yeah. But
Well, I mean, Kelsey, how would Mara have it set up?
I don't even know.
Yeah, she's gonna sneak over to Gorko and like shake him a bit, wake him up.
Bara? He's like,
Shh.
okay.
I have a special mission for you. Come with me.
He nods, and then he sort of like gets out of bed and he tries to be stealthy. Let me go ahead and I will roll stealth for him. I have to get his sheet up though.
And I roll perception again to see what.
Well, you're awake for this, so like you know what's
Yeah,
happening.
I'm pretty sure you
I'm aware.
see it all.
Yes. He's not that great either. it's that damn squeaky board in the bedroom. One just goes.
All right, so while Mara's just sitting there, raised eyebrows, going, okay.
Right. So yeah, they try to sneak out to not disturb your sleep, but you know. So okay, yeah, you and Gorko are outside now. The door sort of shut.
Gonna go downstairs to in front of Clue's room.
Okay.
Gonna turn to Gorko and say, "Okay, I'm going to use magic to make you invisible."
His eyes light up. Whoa! Just nodding because you told him to be quiet.
I need you to go into Clue's room and bring me his clothes.
He looks confused and tilts his head.
Just do it.
He looks at you and he points at the room, and then he makes a big arc with his hands and then pretends like he's carrying something really heavy.
No, you don't need to bring all of his clothes, Gorko. You just need to bring me the clothes he was wearing earlier today.
Okay. Then he nods. All right. Okay.
Probably like on the floor or a chair or something.
He nods. All right. And he looks at sort of like the doorknob and he's like, points at you.
Wait. She's gonna cast prestidigitation to color him the same color as the floor.
Okay. So he's now camouflaged as wood.
Exactly.
He kind of looks confused, and then he drops to all fours.
Where did you go, Gorko? It's so hard to see you because you're invisible.
Right, you see like this wood kind of like with a shadow pointing up to the doorknob. You want to give me another sleight of hand here on how quiet you can be?
Oh, she's just opening the door.
Oh, she's not even trying. Okay.
I mean, I guess she would kind of. Yeah. She doesn't dislike Gorko, so she's gonna. Oh wait, sleight of hand. It's the same.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So you open the. Well, I mean, you can go ahead now and give yourself a perception roll with disadvantage, Clue, because you are asleep. You're snoring. You are in the land of Nod, and you are not leaving. You are enjoying the stream, walking in the woods. Yeah. So Gorko, I've closed his sheet now, which is stupid, but yeah, he'll go ahead and try to do a stealth. I guess unless he gets a crit fail too, he should be okay.
You say that you're going to jinx yourself.
Oh, yes, happily not. Not when I'm playing an NPC. Only when I'm playing a character. That's the rule. There's no jinxing when you're the DM. You get the rules you wish you had when you were a character. But all right, so yeah, Gorko's really getting into this. He's like doing the whole like sort of Mission Impossible, like really trying to be stealthy, and he goes around and there's yes. And the thing is that there's kind of like piles of clothes everywhere. Sorry, Clue. I'm just assuming your room is a little bit messy. So he's not sure which one are yesterday's. because he doesn't actually pay attention to what you wear. So instead, what he does is he goes from like lump of fabric to lump of fabric, sniffing them, because he figures whichever one smells the strongest are the ones that you probably wore today.
Oh God!
So he's like just crawling around, like, eventually he thinks he's found the freshest ones. He sort of like can't really be quiet and hold them, so he just sort of like drapes the plants. So you see these like plants floating on top of camouflaged colored Gorko, crawling around the floor. If you were awake in that room, and he sort of like kind of sort of piles the clothes on, and then he goes sort of scampering on all fours out the door to Hibara.
Are these clothes from today?
I'll tell you what.
Technically yesterday.
I'll do let's see. I guess perception is or an investigation. See how he did. Okay, yeah, he's gonna do an investigation. No. They're not exactly the clothes from yesterday. Although I don't know how varied Clue's wardrobe is. So if it's very important, you can send him back in if you want.
She will send him back in, but the sense to say, Gorko, the ones he was wearing today had a pocket that was ripped out.
His eyes get big.
Those.
His eyes get big. He's right, because he burst out of his shirt. Right, okay, all right. So yeah, I
don't need his pants. just the shirt, jacket.
Well, it went from all the clothes to just the clothes he wore yesterday to the shirt, so it's good. We're narrowing this down. All right, so he's gonna go back in, make another go of it. Yeah, he's not so good this time. Do you want to go ahead and do another perception check, Clue? Since it's a second attempt. All right, yeah, this time you kind of hear something is waking you from the dream.
I mean, still 7 disadvantage, so.
Oh, right, you're at disadvantage. Sorry, I saw the 15. So you're still sleeping.
1 and 2.
You were definitely meant to be asleep.
Enjoying that dream.
Yes.
The woods are lovely, dark and deep. What can we say?
All right, so this time, now that he knows what to look for, he finds the shirt with the bust open, with a pocket dangling, basically, part of it, and scampers out of the room again. Hands it to you. He kind of points at the ones that he took out, and he points back in the room. For me to put him back.
She picks them up and just throws them in.
He looks at her quizzically.
It's fine. He won't notice. You did good, Gorko. Now go back to bed and come see me in the morning like usual. I'll have a special present for you.
Ooh, he looks very excited and nods. Goes off and he's gonna try to sneak back into bed. Now he's camouflaged. That's the color of the floor. Now he does. All right. Kelsey, Mara.
Oh, wait.
Well,
I watched them leave.
Yes, but did you drift back off to sleep?
No.
Well,
you don't take my child and expect me to go back to sleep.
All right, well, you still have to roll a perception to see if you notice him actually coming in, or if you just check and then suddenly he's there because he's just such a good murder baby.
I watch the door open and then close, and there's nothing there, and I just go, ghost.
Oh, by the way,
you have one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. You might have dozed off slightly because next time you kind of turn over, he's actually already like back in bed and snoring. So, by the way, did you guys notice? Yeah, I added the Trollskull Alley picture to the map here. I don't know if you looked all the way over to the left. So.
I did. I was wondering what that picture was of, but
that's of your house. Anything. That's your house. Well, that's when it was looking kind of scary. It looks, that's the first time you saw it. That's the only picture I have. So, anyway, all right. So yes, Gorko is back in bed. Hibara has a busted up shirt, and now what?
She's gonna go back to her blossoming garden, and she's going to repair Clue's shirt with mending because we don't do things like by hand, the cheat with magic.
Right.
How you do things. And then she's gonna burn her last spell slot making good berries for Gorko, Mara, and now Clue.
Oh, okay.
And before resting, she will also write on a scrap of, I guess, cloth or paper or whatever the hell's laying around nearest to her. Wood chip, whatever. She's gonna write sorry, but in Druidic.
All right.
And
I like the idea of wood chip because you've got all that bark that you got from Father.
Perfect. She's gonna put that with the good berry in Clue's pocket, and then take her probably uneventful rest.
Yes. Although, are you without inspiration? You used yours, right?
I still have inspiration.
You still have inspiration? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you get double inspiration? Because I was so impressed with your submarine call. I gotta give you
me one. I had used the first one.
Okay.
But then you gave me one for the submarine call.
Yes. All right. So everyone's topped up on the inspiration, and you guys all had a very good night's sleep. Right. So, what is the shirt? It's fixed now, and did you put it outside the door? Exactly. Sorry, where did you put it?
No, she still has it, but she's going to give it to when Gorko comes to visit. Comes to her in the morning to get the good berry from Ara.
Right. Then she'll do it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Got it. Right. Yeah. So the night passes. You guys all rest, as I said, and then Gorko does when the Bobs stir. He gets up with the Bobs and really likes his morning coffee with them because they tell jokes and they go out and get the newspaper, and he's learning more about Waterdeep from them. So yeah, he goes downstairs and has the morning coffee with the Bobs. So yeah, you're hearing him kind of scuttle around downstairs. And did you tell him to come and see you in the morning? Yes, you did, didn't you?
She did.
So yes, he's going to, when the Bobs are actually, let me retcon that, when they're heading downstairs to go make the coffee, he's going to come by your room and pop his head. Is it okay to talk now?
Yes, Gorko, it's perfectly fine. Here is the berry. Here's Mara's berry for today.
Okay.
And I made one especially for you.
Oh, what is it?
It's a berry.
Oh.
It's good.
Okay.
Eat it.
Pops it in his mouth, and you see it sort of like he wasn't expecting the taste. And it's not that it's unpleasant, but it's just suddenly he has morning breath, and now he's got a good berry, all in his mouth, and sort of like, does it taste like tingles?
Tinkles?
Tingles with a G. It's got a little bit of magic to it, so sort of like 1 point of healing and filling up and feeling good.
And not having to eat for 24 hours.
Yep.
That's like the one thing Mara truly appreciates about Hibara is these. They're good for her figure.
That is a question. That is a metaphysic question that I had one day where I was just like, does the fact that Hibara just eats good berries, does that mean she doesn't poop? Because like she only eats enough. How does good berry work really?
Yeah.
Like, the metaphysical construct of good berry.
Yeah, I think it would. If you ate them like nonstop, day after day after day, I actually think you'd probably stop pooing. I mean, or at least it would take you you'd only do it once a week.
I was more like one berry a day.
Yeah, well, I guess it would have to be some kind of.
That's like one per year.
Maybe
that's minimal pooing.
Very minimal.
A normal amount of very small poos, also possible.
Yes, you might just have
mouse poos.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
Yeah. Then she takes the the perfectly mended.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if there were patches in it or not, but now like there are not patches at all. If there was a patch, it's one solid piece of cloth again.
Wow, so it looks like it was when it was bought. Kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So,
R&D
yeah,
is
it's
now- just so you all know, R&D is now making fun of us because we have the deepest conversations.
hey, this is what happens when you have magic.
Yes. You have to
These
think about
questions come up and they
This
need
is very
answers.
true.
By
I'm
the
not
way,
arguing. I'm just saying.
yeah. How long does prestidigitation last? Is Gorko still the
Oh, it
color
only
of?
lasts an hour.
Oh, okay, all right. So he's back to his normal.
Yeah.
Look, all right.
Yeah, he's back to his normal self. She hands him the folded shirt and says, "Take this to Clue." When you
Okay.
give him the coffee and stuff.
All right. Okay. So what he does is he takes the 2 berries and the note in the shirt, and he takes it back over to Clue's door, but he just sort of like sets it down, like make sure the floor isn't dirty, and sets it down there, and then he goes downstairs and talks with the Bobs, and he doesn't really need a pastry today. He's not feeling so hungry now. So he doesn't have his normal like when they go out for their breakfast and make coffee and kind of have their mornings down. Then he comes back up with a tray now. They're getting some equipment and some actual like nice coffee mugs. And yeah, he runs up the stairs and he brings you a coffee first, Hibara. You want a coffee?
Thank you.
Right.
I mean, she'll take it.
And then he knocks on Thelvar's door and opens it and says, "Can I come in and give you your coffee?"
Oh, yes, thank you, Gorko, thank you.
He brings it in and sets it on your nightstand, so that you can have it when you want, because it's still quite hot. So get right away. Then he sort of leaves, shut the door behind him, runs over and pads over, I should say, thunk, 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 little troll feet on the floors of the 2nd level, and gets next goes to Clue. He pockets one of the good berries. Now that he's got more space on his tray, he can kind of hold it more with one hand and kind of tuck the shirt under.
She put clues in the pocket with the note.
Oh, okay. So he kind of folds it up and puts it under his arm. Knocks on the door and says, "Good morning, Clue. Can I come in? You've got your morning coffee."
Sure.
All right.
Like just like lifts himself up.
Yep, kind of pads over. Said, "Oh, and Hibara asked me to give you this. And I had to be careful with it because there's other things, so you might want to look at this. And here's your coffee. Don't spill it on your shirt."
Clue just
Spill
like
it on your shirt.
stares, just befuddled at like his own shirts. But don't keep out. I'm giving him that. Just like tears turning in his head.
He just looks. Clue looks confused, and Gorkos just thinks, "Yeah, I have that look on my face a lot when I talk to Hibara." He just thinks that, he doesn't say it, and he says, "Okay, good morning, see you later." And then he comes over and he brings his murder mama, her morning coffee and her good berry, and he sets it on the night table, and then he jumps on the bed next to
I thought he was gonna know better than to wake me up.
He's excited to see you today. He just like
Don't know
lays,
why, because
so
all he's been-
he lays next to you, and while you have your eyes closed, he's just going to put his head on the pillow next to you with his eyes wide open and stare at you until you open your eyes. I brought your coffee and your good
Simba.
berry.
Go away.
Okay, murder mama. He gets off the bed.
Not
Yeah.
knowing what she meant by Simba.
Nope. But
I can just imagine her picturing like that first scene of Mufasa and Sarabi in the cave. It's like, he's your son.
Yeah. Well, to be
That's
fair,
the scene I'm picturing.
yeah, Gorko gets a lot of random things from Hibara and Mara combined, so they just sort of wash over him at this point.
That is true.
Like, this is
Yep.
just my life. Sometimes it's random. Yeah, so you guys have your morning coffees and make your way downstairs. About 9 o'clock in the morning, there is a knock at the door, and stood there is, let's say, Embrick, I think correctly. One of the Ganassi from next door, the ones that the carpenter or the forgers.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to come. He's asking for Hibara.
She waves him in.
So he's not the one you normally deal with. Normally you deal with his partner, Avi. Well, and Embrick is generally kind of a cranky person, but he looks in a pretty good mood today. And says, so we just wanted to thank you for your gift of, sorry, dragon scales the other day. I've only ever once worked before with that material. And Avi and I had a discussion about what to do with them, and we thought we should test something out before we committed to making a bigger product. Anyway, we used the scales to make these, and since they were a gift from you, it's only a prototype, but they do have some good properties that you might be able to make use of. And he hands you sort of like a very small but elongated box. So maybe think of like a necktie box or something, but a little bit wider. He hands that to you, Hibara.
He shakes it in. I assume it's just like a normal shirt box. Just pulls it open, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than a shirt box. It's kind of, it's a little bit wider than a tie box. So what it's in, there's a pair of gloves inside.
Oh.
And as she looks at them, she can kind of see that within the weave, or somehow woven into it, has the flash of the dragon scale.
It was brass, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Embrick says, yeah, so I've tested it, and I can tell you that, well, when whoever wears them becomes resistant to fire. I've tried burning those things, and they are very difficult to burn. So I don't know what other properties they might have.
The box there and lights on fire.
He sort of laughs and puts the fire out. So
I was gonna say that's like Hibara's calendar.
Well, I mean, she's holding the box, right?
Well, I guess he was. I guess you're right. If you're holding the box, you can stand there with the box on fire. It's your bar. He's not going to tell you what to do in your bar.
Yeah, pretty much.
He is a fire ganassi, so he was stuff too. And you start to smell smoke.
He's just like staring at this, just thinking like, I really just need to start ignoring these things, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you're.
So I am assuming that they are not burning along with the box, right?
Oh no, they're not at all. No.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Well, as I said, you gave it as a payment to us, but it was far too much of a payment. So this makes us feel a little more like even. But it's a gift. It's to thank you for the materials because they are fascinating to work with. Thank you for the.
Thank you. They're very lovely. She puts out the fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now you've got a burnt gift box and a perfectly fine pair of gloves.
Yep.
And Brick says, yeah, by the way, they're very flexible. They stay in that position, but with the scales, you can actually get them up to, a half auger or some, very, very large hands. 5 digits. Doesn't, shape to hooves or anything. Humanoid should be able. It fits my hand, but then it also, I had a halfling try it on the way over, and it shaped to his hand.
Well, thank you very much. They're very nice.
Well,
thank you. One on. I assume they glitter a little bit, right?
Yeah. There's a little bit of almost like you think about things that are woven with a gold thread. So it's not ostentatious, but occasionally the light will catch it, and you'll just get this flash of brilliance through the material.
And mechanically, they grant fire resistance?
Yes, they do. And maybe something else if you wear them for long enough. Who knows? He just knows they're resistant to fire.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he says, waves to everyone else and wishes you all a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Mara's like deep in her cups of coffee.
Yeah. So, Jarvis is there and looks around and admires the gloves. Like, oh, that was very, very nice. I've never seen anything quite like that. Do you think they require attunement?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I guess she can take 10 minutes to detect magic on them.
Oh, sure.
That should tell her, right?
Well, I think they'll tell you if they are magical. I have to. That's our for. Or what I could just do is look up the notes I made and what the modified benefits are. I did pick something. Give me 2 minutes. You guys want to talk about what you're gonna do today? What's on the agenda? The Jarvis cells.
Things we still need to do is talk to the Open Lord about getting our money for the worm job. Then Clue at some point is gonna need to talk to Devil about Charlie. We need to deliver that thing to the what it called the Waterdeep Wazoo for Swordass. And I think I'm forgetting something, but I don't remember.
You mentioned about the worm, the Wazoo, and Thelvar also has to deliver.
Oh yeah, Harper's. Yeah, that's also a thing Thelvar needs to do.
All right. By the way, Hibara, after sitting with the gloves on, are you just going to leave them on for like an hour to try to attune to them? Or does she just want to do detect magic?
I think she'd start with detect magic and then go for like if they do appear magical, like enchantment-y magical, then she'd probably try to attune to them.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, as a ritual, you do detect magic, and you see an aura off of you.
Okay, then yeah, she'll definitely try to attune to it then.
Okay. I'll just say this now so I don't have to interrupt the story, the role-playing, or the narrative later on. When Hibara attunes to them, she suddenly senses in the direction she realizes is the Waterdeep harbor. She can feel Dabby. Like, she can sort of like sense how far away Dabby is from her. So what it allows you to do is you can focus your senses and magically discern the distance, direction to the closest dragon within 30 miles of you of the same type of scale as your gloves. You can only do it once a day.
You said 30 miles?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay.
So it can only detect Dabby, though.
No,
it can only detect one dragon, or can it detect multiple dragons?
It can detect any dragon of that type within 30 miles. But
so if Dabby's family were nearby,
yeah, you would sense more dragons. You wouldn't know. Like, I guess I'm saying you can sense Dabby because Hibara knows that there is a brass dragon.
Okay.
And that's exactly where it would be, facing the harbor and in the direction that you guys had dropped her off. So that was more of a leap of logic than what was taught by the gloves. The gloves, you can just like, dragon, kind of like, think about the alien pinging, like it's kind of ping, ping, ping. So she can sense where a dragon like Dabby is.
Okay.
So basically, Hibara, you improved something and I improved something back. That's
what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. And that's for anyone, like, obviously, like with Thelvar stuff, there's a lot of going on, and Mara's too. So I want to encourage that and reward you guys when you think outside the box, like with Jolly, that entire line. Anyway, getting back to starting for metagaming. So yes, you've got that list of the 3 things that you can do. that clue just reviewed?
I mean, it's early in the morning, so
We should go do open lord crap first.
yeah, definitely. Then we probably want to go talk to the Harpers and Devil, and then probably at night is probably the best time to try and break into a place, generally speaking.
Oh, wait, who assigned us the dragon job?
That's the. Whoa, how do you mean dragon?
The Blackstaff had the.
Yeah.
We need to talk to Blackstaff too, because
Didn't we talk to them already? Oh, wait a second.
I think we did.
Did we?
That's when you
Yeah,
found out that they
or-
misplaced that the staff you wanted was not so
Yeah.
much on hand.
Did we get paid for that job?
No.
I think that one
Nope.
was loyalty, but this one
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we got it from their contact when we randomly ran into them in the dockward once.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Otis is a contact for the
Mhm.
Force Grey.
Yeah. So definitely open lord first then.
All right. So for what would you want to say to Jarvis? Role play.
Yeah, I guess we need to go and get paid for the job, don't we?
Well, that's how we keep in business. Yes.
Yep. Well, at the very least, we have some stuff we want to know about her too. Although we're gonna need to be subtle about that.
By the way, there was a memo from main office. They're very happy to see how often this company's got their name in the paper associated with the Solutions Guild already since becoming a franchise member. So just a note from main office saying good job and keep things up. Wanted to pass that along. Yeah, I think we can find. I think it's James this morning on the wagon. Not in that way, but who's going to drive the wagon for? So Jarvis kind of gives a note. Sends one of the Bobs. Within a couple minutes, yeah, you've got James there. And pulls up like, okay, where do you want to go?
To the office of the Open Lord.
I think that's over in the Castle Ward. Yep, all right. So you guys go ahead and clamber in. And you are heading over on the Castle Ward. Can someone roll me a D100? These are always fun. I never get to, D100s are so rare. It's kind of a special thing to roll a D100. So, yeah, go ahead and roll me a D100 as you guys are in the cart on your way over. 64. Right. All right, so as you guys leave the bar and you're waiting for James to come and pick you up, there are two old guys, described here as two old coots.
what?
Two old coots.
Lord.
Are
they in a balcony?
Yes, exactly. That's the kind of thing. But no, they're not in a balcony. But they are stood basically like outside your door and then looking at your sign, and you walk out and you're sort of like waiting there under your sign in front of your tavern, and they're talking about you guys like right in front of you. They're like, oh, do you hear about this group over here? They're getting on all kind of scrapes. Yeah, I hear a couple of them are from out of town. They're like, out of towners. They're a real big problem. They're like, well, one's a hoity-toity lord. They're just like talking about your origins and your background. You're like, I don't know about this business. What's this sort of goth thing? I don't know. People don't like ghosts. If people liked ghosts, we'd have more ghosts around. And they're just like having this conversation about you and your business right out there in front of you.
I'm sure they're not in a balcony.
Yeah, they should be in a balcony. And they laugh. You guys get into the cart and pulls away. The rest of the trip over to the castle ward is pretty uneventful. And so you arrive into the main offices, or the main place where the offices of the Open Lord are. It's pretty busy. There's quite a lot of bustling and stuff, and you guys have there's an obvious sort of reception area. What do you do?
Go up to the receptionist. Go. Yeah, we're here to get paid for a job we did.
Okay, so he's sort of like a dragonborn behind the desk, and sort of sat there and is like, okay, what's your adventuring company's name?
That's PN2C.
PN2C? Alright, hold on. And he picks up a sending stone. You see him like say something into it. Waits a little bit. Here's back. Like, all right, well, if you're okay to go in, if you go in through those main doors, the bursar's office is on the main level on the left-hand side. You can go in. They know that they pulled up your contract, and they'll have your payment there.
Jolly good. I'm sorry.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys happy to go inside? Just follow the instructions?
Yep.
Right. Well, you get in, the four of you, or is it Gorka with you as well? Is it the five of you?
Yeah, five of us.
The five of you. Yeah, you get there. There's about two more people. Like, well, there's one person on their own, and then like other people who are together, and you're just stood there queued for a little while. And as you wait, I can't believe we're role playing queuing. Which seems like way too much time. The first person makes their way, and then the next two, which is like two women together, and you can hear them talking to the cashier. You get sort of looking around. The building's very nice, like hard marble floors that are kind of cold, but pretty big and spacious, and people are wandering around. As you're stood there queued, walking toward the exit, give me a perception check, everybody.
Oh, Gorko as well then.
Ow, Regulus, stop scratching me.
Gorko.
Ah, okay. Right, so, Clue, Mara, and Hibara all see walking toward you all is your main contact with the first person who approached you, Mara, at the bar. Thelvar, you're like paying attention to the queuing line. You're not looking at just wandering like, come on, we've got things to do today. But the rest of you recognize Jolaster Silvermane as he's like sort of like leaving the building, walking your way. And he's your main contact for the Open Lord. Right. Okay, there's that knowledge. Okay, well, all right, so then...
I don't think Laura ever met him.
When you were offered a job, maybe? I think he escorted you, and he was the person who kind of ran the meeting when the Open Lord actually showed up, when Laurel Silvermane showed up and talked to you for a bit, and then she left, and he kind of concluded the meeting and did the contract work with you.
Okay.
That's when Clue used his contract skills to learn about a per diem that you guys decided, I don't really need any magical like stuff or extra daggers or anything. We're good.
Yeah,
But
plenty of errors.
You did, yeah. Yes, you did find that there was something in the contract you could have made a bit more money. Then the next people go up, and you're there. The cashier is, this time it's an elderly halfling. Like, yes, how can I help you?
Good day, good day. We are the representatives from PN2C. We completed the job we were hired for, and we are now here to collect our pay.
Oh, right, very good. Okay. She turns around and she goes over. You see everything's alphabetized, so she goes to P through N. Is that right? LMN? No, N through P. Sorry, LMNOP. I did like backwards alphabet. Cassandra, fumbles there, and she pulls out like a folder, and comes back and says, "All right, well, here's the receipt, and I'll need to check it against the signatures in the contract. Also here I see that you've been acknowledged as doing some work for the city, so you're considered right now. Your status is good contractor, which means that you are eligible to do other work if it arises again. So if there I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I have each of you sign here, just acknowledging receipt of payment and fulfillment of your contract?"
Indeed. Thelvar does his nice big signature, not leaving much room for anyone else.
All right. Habara, was it you who have or who has the X, or just has the mark?
I think that was Mara.
Okay.
The what?
You made a
Just wrote an
mark?
X.
Oh no, Mara has one that goes from her trying to sign Mara into going into war.
Oh, okay, all right. So you put that down. Everyone signs the contracts, I take it, unless someone wants to do something else. And she says, "All right, well, thank you again for your work. Your main contact is the Lastar Silvermane. If you have, he will approach you with other jobs, or if you are looking for some work, you can always talk to him about doing things in the future. So thank you very much for your service, and Waterdeep thanks you." And she passes you a small bag of 50.
Jolly good. Thank you very much.
Okay. Y'all got paid. What do you want to do?
Yay.
It's Friday, just got paid.
Added to the cash.
And it gets thrown instantly at what's his bucket? Clue.
Yep, that's my aim.
The people were asking, "So what did you roleplay yesterday, Kristi?" Like, "Oh, that's great. They had a bill that they needed to get paid for, so we went and we queued." Dealt with bureaucracy. We waited in line in role-playing, indeed.
Right. And as for delivering the letter, we don't have to wait till any time. We can go there at any time, because Thalvar's essentially just going to send it through a window using Unseen Servant. Just need to make sure someone can, as it is, a newspaper, I believe.
Oh,
guys, it's a newspaper, journalist thing we need to break into.
yeah, it's supposed to end up on the desk of the editor.
Mm-hmm. Who
So
presumably will have an office with a window. So all we need is someone to go in and, on the pretense of demanding to speak to the editor about one of the stories about us, just to distract him, and then Thalvar will just have the Unseen Servant.
I mean, Clue can do that, because I do not trust Hibara or Mara to do that.
I mean, if he needs distractions, I feel like Mara and Hibara are the perfect two people to do
The
distractions.
thing about a distraction is that it needs to be controlled. It needs to stop when you need it to stop.
Good point. Yeah, it would not be ongoing and we'd be there all day.
Pretty much.
So, Gazette first then? Or Wazoo, I think the name was.
Yes, the wazoo. All right, so you guys want to do that during the day? Okay. Yep.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you step out of the building, back into the fall, crisp fall air. Definitely sort of like middle, feels like a middle autumn day. Getting pretty crunchy out there. I'm just looking up on my Waterdeep interactive map where the Wazoo is. I know that it's actually back in your neighborhood. Yep, the Wazoo. It's back in the North Ward.
Did you just say up the wazoo?
It is. I'm looking up the Wazoo. Yes, I did. So up the Wazoo did appear in that sentence, just not in the normal place.
Oh, what did R&D just say?
Right. So you guys are going to head back. James, you can all pile in the carts, make your way back over to North Ward, and I can tell you exactly. Well, I'll try to pick. I don't know if it's that important to you, but it's between Stallion Street and Imar Street, near the Troll March. Maybe it's far. By the way, oh yes, I see. Okay, here's the Growlhund villa. That's where Jolly was staying. I don't know if you guys can see where I'm pinging right now. And you are heading. Here's Imar Street. Oh, I see it now. Gotta get much closer. Stallion Street. So right here. Not too far from home, actually. Do you want to walk there, or you want to have James take the cart back to the alley, to the tavern, or do you want to just have him take you all the way?
Just cart back to the tavern. Maybe pick up a newspaper, copy of the Waterdeep Wazoo on the way, so we can at least know what they wrote about us.
All right, yeah. So sure, you can go down next door to your neighbors, where he not only has a bookstore, but he does keep a daily paper. So, Dragonborn, whose name is escaping me, but who is the bookstore owner there, you know, the guy, and he says hello, and yeah, it's I think like 5 cents for a copy of the Wazoo.
I'm sorry. I can't. I can't.
You like that? I'm gonna have you work for the
Wazoo. How can I not laugh?
I'm gonna look up the Wazoo.
Lord.
Now it's bothering me, so I'm gonna have to look. It's right over here. There's too much information in this first couple pages. But not the bent nail, the bookworm. Rishal. No, yes, Rishal, the dragon. I felt bad. I felt like I was insulting him. He doesn't exist. And yet I felt bad. Alright, yeah, you guys walk over. And actually, you take from your road, you're going to kind of come up. Do you want to go past the Growlhund villa to see if you can see Jolly anywhere?
No,
I think it would be better if we didn't see him.
Okay, that's fine.
Limit contact until we actually have something that needs to happen.
Okay, well then, instead of going down Horn Street to get you there, you guys kind of go up to Tower March and make your way kind of a little awkwardly, kind of like in a roundabout way to avoid Jolly. You arrive at the offices of the Waterdeep Wazoo. It is a 2-story building. There are a lot of people inside. There are quite a few people going in and out, people at desks. There are people who are writing, and you hear someone shouting from upstairs. It's kind of muffled at this point, but it sounds like the voice of a very irritated woman.
Well, guess go in, boys.
Have fun, Clue.
And Thelvar will position himself underneath the window of where the shouting's coming from.
Okay. So you notice, by the way, do you want to go ahead and do a perception check for me, Thelvar? Because I would take it you're going to go outside and have a look around.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, it's kind of with the way that the sun is shining in this part of where the building is. I mean, you can see that there are windows, but it's very difficult to see inside. One thing you do notice though is that all of the windows are closed because it's a cold day. So they haven't opened up the windows yet. And it's very difficult. Like I said, you see mostly glare. You don't really get a good shot of what's happening beyond a couple inches inside the second. Right. Clue, you're going to head inside.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, yes, as you walk in, you see that there's a wooden sign above it that says Wazoo Waterdeep, Gaxley Rudderbust, Editor. As you walk in, and there is a human. Looks like could be an intern. He looks pretty young. Like, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. He's sat at what looks like a reception table.
Clue's just gonna walk up to him, just kind of like, well, not like put his fist down, but with like a bit of force, like put his palm like on the desk. Hello, Clue from PN2C here. I would like to talk to you editor about some stories you ran about us.
Okay, roll me an intimidation check.
Oh no, the one thing I don't have proficiency in.
Watch him roll something that turns him into a fluffy puppy. Oh!
Yeah, he looks a little bit startled and says, okay, well, if you want to make an appointment with the editor, and he sort of like starts to reach for an appointment book.
I'm pretty sure this is my appointment, or my appointment is gonna be with the Magister here.
Huh? What? His voice kind of goes, I don't really know. I haven't been trained for this. Hold on a second. So he disappears over to somebody else, farther back in the building. Sorry, I haven't spoken much today, and now for some reason. Let me just give me 2 seconds here to have a drink. All right, let's try that again. An older human this time comes over. Says, yes, I'm Brachus. Brachus Rudderburst. My mom is the editor, and I'm like one of the senior writers here. Is there something I can do for you?
Yeah, I would like to talk to your mom then, I guess, because I have some problems with what your little, quotes, newspaper has been writing about us.
He looks a little bit confused, but go ahead and give me a deception check. All right. Who did you say you were again?
Clue from PN2C.
Oh.
In the news a lot lately.
Yeah, you guys, you were the Trollskull Alley fireball lot, weren't you?
We were.
Oh, and you also looked at that fissure that opened up as a consequence of the hurricane. Or not the hurricane, the earthquake. Wrong natural disaster.
Yeah, we have done a lot of things, that is correct. We have a lot of other things to do as well.
Okay, well, I mean, so the thing is, my mom, who's the editor, is a very busy woman. And so if there's something, if it's about the articles, I mean, I can help you out with that if you want.
I'd rather talk to the person who's in charge, you know?
All right, that's fair. I'll tell you what, you wait down here, I'll go get her.
Great.
All right, so he goes upstairs, and there's a little bit of like murmuring already from upstairs. It seems like the bustling that's happening in the top of the building is happening on the second floor as well. And you hear this voice going, "What the hell is that? What do you mean?" "Oh, I don't have time for this crap." She like, "You're a slam." And you hear feet bang, 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 bang. A very stern, slightly intimidating, older human woman comes down the stairs. She has a sense of her own power. Her feet are grounded, and she just starts casting about the first level area, looking for someone she doesn't recognize. And she sees you, Clue, and her eyes narrow. She doesn't even say anything. She just like finishes coming down the stairs. Boom, 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 boom. She's like, "What do you want? I have a newspaper to run. I am giving you great press. What is your problem?"
Quick question. What exactly is it right about this kid? kind of important here.
I love how you guys do all your planning on the fly.
Wait, what? What
I
just
mean, I
happened?
got the Gazette, but we kind of forgot the bit where I checked what it said.
Mara bursts in because she had a feeling that he was going to be an idiot about something.
Well, you have to do me a check. Do me a perception check if you see this woman advancing on Clue, and suddenly you notice Clue goes a lighter shade of pale green, like he's fainted. Okay, yes, he looks a little bit like you get a sense, oh, this is going south. All right, so you can kind of get there and open up the door, but they're a little bit farther in, so you are striding in as.
And
like
Mara, again, is a woman who knows her own power.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Boar knows her own power. Oh, Ducky, what did I tell you? Really, we shouldn't be bothering these people. Just because the articles got your name wrong doesn't mean that you need to speak to the editor. We could be talking to the journalists themselves. Ma'am, I'm so sorry for my colleague here. He's kind of a stickler for certain things. Something about species or name, I honestly don't know. The second he read one of your articles, he got into a tizzy. And, oh, dear God almighty, he just stormed over here. And the next thing I know, I'm following this angry man, and I'm here. I'm truly sorry.
Clue just stares, kind of recovers and stares daggers at Mara and just, I have a single 4-letter name. How do you misspell that?
All right, so Kelsey, go ahead and give me a persuasion. But go ahead and do it with advantage because I'm entertained that your tactic was to throw Clue farther under the bus. That was a good. So she says, she kind of looks over at Clue and says, I'm sure we didn't spell a 4-letter name wrong. Maybe there's a different 4 letters you're thinking of. And he looks over at Amara and says, well, thank you for the apology. I'm sure that there are no problems here. So you guys, you have a good day.
Oh, wait, before you do go, because we are such a new company, and we do enjoy the press. We do. It's just sometimes some of my colleagues, you know the kind. Mara kind of puts that as an aside. They're sensitive about things. And if every so often you can throw us a bone and maybe give us a heads up if you were going to publish something, just so we could get a good look at it before it's published, so certain delicate souls can make sure that certain things are spelt correctly so that their feelings aren't hurt, that would be ever so appreciated.
Well, I will tell you.
Gives her big brown eyes and the most innocent smile she could possibly muster.
All right. So, Yaxley sort of sizes you up. She looks at Clue, sizes you up as well. What did you say your group's name was again?
Mara looks at Clue. Well, Ducky?
Can't you see? You know this, Mara. Jesus. Just trying to sound as irritated as possible.
Can't you see? Well, here's the thing, is we tried to get you for an exclusive interview after the fireball, and you were very unreachable. So, I'm not an unreasonable woman. I'll do for you if you do for me. I will tell my copy editors to double check your party members' spelling names in future if you give me some tips on things that you guys are doing. For instance, I heard you were all talking with a dragon somewhere outside the harbor. That's really interesting news that people would like to read about. So, I will take care of the spellings of everything in your articles if you guys go ahead and, feed me a little bit of information. We'll start when you guys first give me information. That's when this arrangement will begin. How about that? Hey, I didn't make up the reason. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I like a woman who knows what she wants. I think that could be done. And just to answer just so we are on the same page, I do apologize if we were unreachable during the fireball incident. We did have a lot of particular issues having to deal with that. And once everything was said and done, we were again curtailed by the authorities. But I will give you a couple of things about the dragons if you want.
Oh.
And that's right.
All right,
I said dragons.
Yes, come up. Let's go talk in my office upstairs. So she kind of like invites Mara coming by, and they're like, Clue, are you going to join them?
Mara puts like a hand on Clue and goes, you go join the rest of the party. I'll go and have a discussion about the dragon. Okay?
Clue like crosses his arms, starts walking out, and then just like mage hands like some stuff off the desk.
See what I mean? The littlest thing sets him off. I don't understand.
All right. So Gaxley is walking up the stairs now, and she sort of motions for you to follow her behind.
And Mara follows.
Yes. And when you guys crest the top of the stairs, there are like another 6 people or so working in this upstairs area. But there's also a corner that's sort of blocked off. It's not its own sort of separate room. It's like before you had glass paneling. Like she wants to be able to see out, but she also wants a little bit of like space. So there's like maybe French doors kind of situation as opposed to a big heavy door that are open. But as you guys like go up the stairs and start walking across that space to get to what is obviously her office, she just goes, "Everybody out!" And everyone just like stops like deer in headlight, and then they immediately just grab whatever they were working on, and they all just rush past you to all the way downstairs, and the room is empty.
Well, that would have given Thelvar plenty of time to do what he needs to do.
All right. So what is Thelvar doing?
Yeah, what was the game plan again?
Right. Well, Unseen Servant can be summoned anywhere within its range, so I will summon Unseen Servant inside the office.
Do you have to be able to see where you cast it, though?
No.
Okay.
So summon it inside the office, where it will open the window. I will send Aloysius up with the letter. The Unseen Servant will take the letter, put it on the desk, close the window, and then I'll unsummon it.
Okay.
Desk again.
So I think
the
editor's desk, yes. Can you tell me exactly when in this process, like from outside the street, when would you have done this?
Basically, when I heard the door slam.
I don't know if I'm outside. Which door? Which door slam? Sorry, I'm trying to remember backwards in the narrative where there was a door slam.
Yeah. When the editor's son went up.
Oh, okay, and she slammed her desk.
For this.
Okay.
Thump, 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 thump,
Okay.
thump, slam.
All right.
And then vroom, 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 done.
All right. So I think we need some rules for this. So first, just, you can't just say like magically happens. We need to put some drama into this and see how it goes down. So I guess first is let's roll for Aloysius. And in terms of, well, I guess first the Unseen Servant. It'll be a pretty standard dex, but why don't you go ahead and roll to see them being able to open up the window.
Okie
Yeah, that's no problem. So you can't see anything. Maybe you see some like paw prints, like prints that sort of like, I don't know if it flies or whatever, how it gets up there, but you see a window open. Okay, the next part is going to be Aloysius dropping off the letter. Now at this point, there are still staff in the room. So I think a stealth check probably makes the most sense. The other option is possibly a sleight of hand. I don't know if that makes a difference for their role as your familiar. But can we, I guess, what is that, another dex? I don't know if you have their specific stats or how that works. So if you just need a dexterity. Right. So, people see an owl float into the room, or fly into the room. Okay. I'm going to do a perception check to see if anyone notices that it has something in its hands, or if they all just go, "Bah!" They all just freak out. So I'll call it, let's say, a 20% chance that somebody could actually make out that the owl was carrying a piece of paper as it flew in a room, which would be 4. So a 16 is the D. Or 15. Because, 16, 17, 18, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine. Barely, but happily. Owlicious is Owlicious like a snow owl? I'm kind of picturing them as white for some reason, but so a little more white, and also with the window open now, there are papers fluttering. They managed to drop it off onto the desk, and then also like fly out as the staff kind of, oh no, not the boss's desk, no, get away, bird, no, and flies off. All right. So, now, this has not been explained to Gaxley. She is annoyed. She goes and she shuts the window. What a mess. I'm surrounded by incompetence. This is why we are not the best paper. It's because we don't get the best people to write the best stories. And she starts to organize her desk again. Says, all right, yeah. She's organizing. It's like, tell me your dragon stuff. So let's see what you got. What do you got?
Mara sees the letter.
Oh yes. Yep.
And just kind of does a push so that the editor sees it.
Are you trying to be stealthy on that?
Sure. Yeah, I should be.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You can either do like a sleight of hand or a stealth. I would think either of those would be a way to solve that problem. It's like, what is this? Are you trying to sell me a manuscript or something?
I mean, I have a very interesting story. But no, this looks very interesting. And also, it doesn't look like it was disturbed like the rest of your papers.
How would you know that? Kind of looks at you like a little bit questioning. She also picks it up while she's looking at you.
I mean, if you've ever lived in a place that got torn through by a hurricane or a tornado, you know when paper gets put on top of a hot mess.
She just shakes her head now. All right, tell me about this dragon thing. She sort of is popping over and open this letter as you're talking.
Well, the dragon that was out in the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cutie.
She's already blocked you out. She is reading what is on the paper. You can see her eyes. I will just say, you can see her eyes scanning back and forth in a way that makes you suspect she's already tuned you out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he's a cutie, and him and I are gonna get married someday, and and it's gonna be magical. And Napoleon is going to be there, and
she doesn't, without looking up from the letter, she just kind of gets a very editorial, editor-in-chief kind of voice and says, "Yeah, kid, that sounds fascinating. Tell you what, come back when you've got something with blood in it. You know, if it bleeds, it leads. So, don't forget to bring me tips. Bring me tips. I'll make sure you get good press." And she just sort of like waves at you to leave without ever actually looking at you. She's too busy looking at this letter to even like look up to see you out.
Bye, Ducky. And Mara just walks out, not even offended, just bye, and walks away. Not even walks away, kind of flounces like, I got shit done.
All right, you see your compatriots in the street outside the front door of the newspaper office. I don't know how Clue looks right now. Thalvar probably looks very happy with himself.
I think Clue just kind of looked at Mara. That was clever. Huh. just like obviously like slightly upset, but mostly like just no, that worked.
Mara looks at him and goes, "I'm sorry. You look like you were in trouble. I had to do something."
So you did get help. Okay.
Basically.
Elvar comes sorting around the corner. Mission accomplished.
Yes, she is reading the letter and totally just like didn't care about the dragons. She kind of kicked me out of her office.
At least that doesn't mean she's not writing about Clue. Clue with an accent circumflex.
Yep.
Yep.
But we love you, Clue. We love you very much.
Yeah, secret deals behind closed doors, orgies, and blood rituals in the noble families of Waterdeep was way more interesting than a story about a dragon.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's what I was just like the second you were just, she tuned you out, I'm like, all right, we're going to go with this.
Yep. Well done.
Okay, so time to head back to the bar, I think. We have a couple of messages to deliver. I can go deal with Force Grey while Clue goes and speaks to his friend.
Hibara does also.
My paycheck.
Yes. Yes. By the way, Hibara does still have an invite from the Emerald Enclave outstanding if she wants, just as a reminder.
Yep.
All right. So all of you gonna head back to the tavern, the old haunt.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's about lunchtime, and actually, while you sort of walk in the door, and Jarvis is like very happy to see you because you guys normally don't show up once you leave. You like come back late at night, and said, "Oh yes, this is very exciting, everyone. I've just booked who I think we should probably get as the tavern's on-site chef. I don't know if you know of her. Her name is Madame Kukari, but she is free in 3 days to give us a sample meal. And Jarvis has a sort of picnic basket in front of them. But she sent along a little preview of some of her work, and inside there's a basket. It's like perfect for lunchtime. All sort of gorgeous little tarts and other like little bits and bobs that I'm doing off the cuff, so I haven't prepared the way I did the Zordos dinner, where I had the recipes up on the screen while I was reading them to you. But you have like a little sampling fare of all of this really very, very delicious French food. Actually, hold on 1 second. I need to pull something out. You notice when you eat them, you kind of feel like a little bit better. Like you feel a little bit of a boost, and that's because I can't find the freaking backgrounds in Tasha. But basically, this it gives you some like temporary hit point. So I will look that up, and if you, I'll give you more information on it. But basically, she kind of like sent you a food/health basket as a way to give you a preview of how freaking awesome.
Madam Cookery, you say? Oh, I've heard her food is absolutely exquisite, but strange. I'm sure I'd heard that she had died. I must be mistaken.
I think her food was too good. They must have brought her back from the dead.
Oh, indeed, indeed. From what I've heard, her foods are exquisite.
Yes.
And going by the taste of these, what I've heard is completely correct.
Meh, it's French.
gonna win you over to French food at least yet. Yeah. All right. So who's going where to do what? People want to do this in a specific order. Are you happy to mix it up? Or by the way, is Habara going to go or is Habara going to stay? Just so I know how many of these individuals sessions I have to run.
Well, is Mara going anywhere?
She
Currently,
can.
no.
Yeah.
Mara
right.
doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah. I'm working on that, but you're a little bit of a square peg in a round hole, so sometimes it's hard for me to fit you in.
Well, no, I'm doing that on purpose.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
On...
Oh, 79.
Yeah, she'll probably go, but she'd want to hang back and talk to Mara first before leaving. So
right.
Also, question from R&D, where's Monsieur Kokori?
Oh, I'll say that they got back together, even though they still, like, some of the problems in the relationship left, or stayed because of their fundamental personalities, but her death really kind of brought them back together. So they're living together now in Waterdeep for a really hip and upcoming place to kind of really make her own.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. She sent you special treats that they last 8 hours after being made, and from them you can you get basically, if you do a short rest today for the next 8 hours, you get to roll an extra 1d8 of hit points, like, for free. So get those basically like every morning or every time you eat those treats. Like, I guess you could have more of them and have them every 8 hours if you wanted to cover yourself and have 3 of them and have 24 hours. But I mean, a short rest, long rest, whatever, you pop up. So yeah, that's and I will get more details on that when she becomes permanent member of staff, because I'm kind of assuming you guys in the morning will have your coffee and your special treats.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you'll know that for your day you should, like, do something on your sheet that says, I've got an extra d8 to roll for hit dice if we do a short rest. So
I have a feeling that Mara is going to be demanding food from Monsieur Kokori.
From Monsieur Kokori or Madame. Madame is the one who's being interviewed for the job.
I know, but
I can't get R&D here to play Monsieur Kokori on the fly. I need you for 5 minutes tonight. Show up.
It's only mid-afternoon for him.
Yeah,
I will demand it. It'll be like, one of my players is demanding you cook her food. Do it.
Well, maybe one night Madame Cookery will invite you over for dinner, and Monsieur Cookery will be there, and so there'll be some sort of adventure, kitchen-based adventure that will happen.
She'll just bring random treats from him. Be like, I noticed that you don't like my cooking. Why? Because the French. You wore like you cook. I don't know. I'll make up some kind of horrible joke about war. It will be something along those lines. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so since we're gonna do that, should we do Hibara and Mara? Do you guys want to role play out that conversation before we switch over to the more mission-based narratives?
I'm fine doing it first, or fine waiting, because she'd wait for Thelvar and Clue to leave
Yes,
first.
so both Clue and Thelvar will head out. Let's see, Clue, you're heading to talk to whom? Davil?
To Davil.
So you're heading to the Yawning Portal, and Thelvar is going over to the Sea Ward to talk to Mert. So yeah, I think that's not so far apart where they could ride together and James could just drop the one and then.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they head off. Clickety 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 clickety. And it's you and Mara in the tavern.
So Mara, she kind of looks at you funny.
Yes, Ducky.
So you like the dragons, right?
Yes, they're quite fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Well, so as I'm sure you've seen, I've got these lovely gloves. made from Shara's scales. And I was wondering, would you rather prefer to have them?
That's a yes.
What was yes, yes, oh my god, yes, please. I've always wanted dragon scale gloves. That would be amazing.
Takes them off and gives them to Mara.
Mara puts them on. She's just like,
I will say this also. If you meditate and attune to them, you'll know exactly where Dabshara is at any time you'd please. Once a day, anyway.
Yeah.
yay!
Mara slides them on. Her face is entirely lit up with just pure joy. Her eyes sparkle almost as much as the gold that glitters within the weave of the gloves themselves.
And if Thalvar knew this was happening, Thalvar would be getting very, very worried right now. Because now he's the only one that has to fear fire.
Well, she stopped actively trying to set him on fire now, so...
At the moment.
Doesn't get just on Mara to deal with Ibarra now. This isn't his job anymore.
I'm so happy.
All right, well, yes. Mara, you are now resistant to fire damage. And you also, after 1 hour of attunement, once a day, you can sense all brass dragons within a 30-mile radius.
Mara takes a deep breath. The gift is appreciated. Habara. Dragons have always fascinated me. They're like dinosaurs. Giant
Dinosaurs?
It's a story for another time.
I mean,
But yes.
I mean, dinosaurs exist in the.
Oh yeah, you
Forgotten
can
Realm.
race. You can race on dinosaurs. I've seen dinosaur races. Yeah,
The other thing.
That's a thing.
that is a thing.
How can can we do that thing?
I think Habara can even turn into one right now.
Can we do that thing? Can we race dinosaurs at some point, please?
We can absolutely
Like
race
that?
dinosaurs.
Because that now has to happen. I'm sorry, but that has to happen now that I know that it's a thing.
That's okay. I had that in my back pocket.
That's like I'm sorry, we should not have mentioned that we could race dinosaurs in front of a total dinosaur because that now has to happen. Oh my god. But dinosaurs. Okay.
Outside the game, you can start looking at the stats on various types of dinosaurs that you can race with, so you'll know which ones you can pick. Which one do you want to race with? Yeah.
Want to raise a chicken?
So yeah, after that, she's gonna leave and start heading towards where we met up with the Enclave before.
Yes. Falcon Mirror is the way it's pronounced. Okay, so pause on that. Yes, Habara heads out. Mara is just like staring at her gloves, just so happy. By the way, is Gorko staying with you, with Mara, or is he going with?
Yeah, Gorko's just hanging out with me.
Okay.
Unless somebody decided to take Gorko with them on something, but Gorko's hanging out with me.
Yeah. Did anybody else want to take Gorko with? No.
Thalvar doesn't mind Gorko accompanying if Gorko wants to go with Thalvar.
Okay, yeah. He'll head out. He is an opportunity for him to talk about magic and also how he really is bored with his scroll of magic, of fog, and he would really like a new scroll. And hear that there's a sale going on with a really nice person, Dragonborn's bookshop, and knows that it costs money and some of the spells are really expensive. But on the other hand, he's been really helpful and he's been bringing everybody coffee, and he's would really love a new spell.
Of course, Gorko. We can pop over once we get home.
All right, he looks very excited. In a good mood then. Head over.
Mm-hmm. And before we go any further, being that it was like 2, 3, whatever sessions ago, what exactly was the info we learned from the horse again?
Oh, sure. It had to do with Yagra and Devil, and that you guys kind of deduced based on the description in the conversation. Clue, probably. Gonna say?
Yeah. So what we learned from the horse is that Devil and Yagra were talking about getting spies in Xanatar, and Clue confirmed that with them, and then told Velvar that they were trying to get spies as part of Xanatar and trying to figure out the deal Xanatar was making with Floxon.
Right.
So,
Okie-dokie.
So, Floxon trying to work with Xanatar, and the other members of Xanatar are trying to stop that cooperation, essentially.
Right.
And then, actually, you've had that independently corroborated now by Jolly.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty solid info.
Aye.
Yeah, alright. So who gets, I guess it makes more sense to go to the C ward first, and then drop Clue off in the castle ward of the Yawning Portal. So yes, I'm not entirely sure. I think there's an address, but you guys go to the C ward. So Mert, I say Mert the Merciless, but that's Ming the Merciless. Is that the same name? Mert lives in a very nice house. It is got a huge front garden. It's got a very beautiful kind of like front gate to it, where flowers, including other like viney flowers and various colors, wrap around it. And it also has like a big M in the front garden gate as well. So just as a little bit of background, Velvar, that Mert was one of the people who was in the same adventuring company as Durnan, and that both of those two went down into the Underdark. Durnan built the Yawning Portal. Mert went into business instead. But also, they both are way, way too young. I mean, like, they should be dead by now. They should be so old as to be dead by now. So you think he's not just like a normal human being. And he's obviously hugely influential. There are rumors that he's one of the Masked Lords, which of course you're not supposed to talk about who is the Masked Lord, so you're not supposed to officially know unless you are a Masked Lord yourself. But given how long he's been in the city and how rich he is and that he knows everybody, it's probably... you'd be more likely to bet on it than not that he's probably Open Lords, the Masked Lords' governance of one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you head over to Mert. It is Mert the Merciless, just like Ming the Merciless. You head over to his house. It's gorgeous, and there doesn't seem. You can kind of like there doesn't seem to be a lot of activity. You see like maybe 1 or 2 people passing in the windows, but they could be house staff or whatever.
Well, Velvar approaches, looking around, very ostentatious, walks up to the door, tap, 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 tap.
The door opens, and there is a sort of doe-eyed elven woman who says, yes, can I help you?
Greetings. Lord Velvar Mordragain here to see your master.
And did you have an appointment?
More or less. I was delivering something that he asked for.
Okay.
Which he is expecting.
All right, and who may I say is calling?
Right,
so I'm sorry, you said that already. My apologies. If you would like to, please come in. Can I offer you something to drink? Some tea, some wine, some water, anything?
Yes, a nice cup of tea will do very nicely.
Excellent. Well, please make yourself comfortable here. And she's sort of like, there's sort of like a foyer with a seating area, and you see her say something to another member of staff who disappears. You're sat there for a minute or two when staff person that she just kind of shooed away shows up with a tray and just sort of smiles and disappears. And then she said, yes, Mert will see you now. Would you like me to have that hot drink brought up in the dumbwaiter for you rather than carrying it up the stairs?
Yes, please. That will be very helpful.
So she kind of picks up the tray the servant sort of, or the house servant, kind of offered it to you, and then left the tray kind of for you to use as almost like a coaster on the table. So she sort of offers you to hold it up, and then she goes and she pulls on a cord, and you hear a bell ringing, and then she opens up this dumbwaiter, puts your drink inside, closes it, and rings the bell again, and says, yes, just make your way up to the top of the stairs. Mert's waiting.
Thank you very much. Gorko, come.
Gorko is just like jaws. He's like, this is amazing. This is like he thinks he's back at the theater. Like, he's thinking that we're going to see another play now, because this is the last, but he's not wearing the right suit. He knows it's something a little bit different. He sort of pads after you as you head upstairs. When you get to the top, you see a Mert. Again, sort of like Santa, but with a darker mustache, red hair kind of thing. Is, oh, my buddy, how you doing? It's good to see ya. Yeah, I gotta get my New York accent on, so I gotta practice. I gotta warm up a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, buddy. Come on in. Oh, who's this little one over here? Did you bring him with you?
Yes. We rescued little Gorko here in the fissure that opened up when we went down there. And he's a budding apprentice arcane archer.
Oh, nice to meet you, little guy. And he puts his hand out, and Gorko shakes it. I'm going through my notes because there was something we're gonna do with this, and I don't have. Because which I'm mostly always ready for a note, and I'm not binder. Anyway, he waves you in and says, "Yeah, come in, sit down. So we're gonna go talk to the person about the thing, right? You're gonna check out the thing and then tell me what you knew or what they knew."
Indeed.
Yeah. So what'd you learn?
It appears that the Zents are attempting to insert a spies into the Xanathar Guild.
Interesting.
Yes, because there appears to be a splinter group that's trying to work with Xanathars, led by an Erstal Floxen.
Oh, wait, are you saying that the Doom Raiders, they're split up? There's two groups of Zents working in the city now.
Yeah, indeed. The ones that have been causing all the problems is this rogue group.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so okay, so there's these two factions, and how does that tie in with the Xanathar? I'm sorry, I'm not getting all this.
Yes, there seems to be some sort of conflict over, let's say, an object of interest to not only the Zents and the Xanathars, but also several other factions around the city, including some Drow who have been, one of whom has been causing all kinds of problems. But yes, they've had a secret meeting about it with a person who wished to remain anonymous and was under some sort of invisibility spell. And Thelvar fishes into his coat and pulls out the pieced together letter.
Oh, okay.
And shows it. Yes, you see, there is a stone that is some sort of keystone to
Stone of
treasure.
The Stone of Golorr. I didn't know you guys knew about that yet.
Yes, it's a whole long, convoluted story where it's passed from pillar to post, to Xanathar to the Zents, and back and forth. And yes, that's what the fireball attack was about, and so many things.
He looks down at the pieces. The pieces of the paper are still in 4 pieces, I take it?
They're kind of clipped together in the right order, so it's, yeah.
He picks it up.
Sellotape isn't a thing.
No, it's not. So, to her ageless majesty, Laurel Silver here, Witch Queen of Stormman, cause it to be commended. Is purational. Yeah. That's never Ember. My dreams as surely as I hope. Jay. Any idea who this Jay is?
Unfortunately not. We try to apprehend these drow, but those guns they carry are quite formidable.
I think you may have answered your own question. For some reason, I've gone very 1950s New York. I sound like I'm from his guy for Her Girl Friday or something. I think you might have answered your own question there. Do you, sorry. Hey, yous guys. Look, yeah, you know who runs the drow? You want to do an intelligence check? Thelvar, I'll do a history check. Oh, yeah, really nice. So Thelvar, he says drow, and then you remember Jay. And when you kind of like, you had all this information in front of you so far, but now because you're talking to Mert, you're kind of having to put pieces together. And you linked up the drow and the letter J, and that reminds you of Bregendarth. Bregendarth is, it's I guess you'd call it a faction. They're based in Luskan, and it's a group. All right. So I'm gonna have to do some just narration here, guys, to get everyone on the same page. Drow society is a matriarchy, and not only is it a matriarchy, all men are below all women. So they still have like wealth and rank and social status and class, so there's still like those kinds of privileges. But if a man were in the street and a common woman, like he bumped into her, he would still, even if he was a higher rank, he would still have to show her deference because of his inferior sex. There are some people in drow society, generally the men, and people, but also like there are like non-binary people, and there are people who trans, and there are also women who think that this is wrong. But the thing is that it's such an entrenched power that no one, like, they're not going to overturn it. So you know that you've heard whispered this legend of Jarlaxle Banra. I'll get a Jarlaxle, who was a son of a very famous, very powerful, probably the most powerful ruling drow family. And he didn't want to put up with that. He wasn't going to live in a society where he couldn't pursue his own ends. And so he left the Underdark and sort of set up shop in the overworld. And he attracted other drows, disproportionately men drows, but also some women and some non-binary drows. If they are, so it's very much like it's kind of like Robin Hood and his band of merry thieves, except they don't really rob to the rich to give to the poor. They rob to the rich to kind of give to themselves or to further their ends. And you had also heard that Jarlaxle's influence in Luskan had been growing, and kind of like with Dagult Neverember in Neverwinter, things have actually kind of gotten better Somehow the pirates seem to be spending a lot more time fighting each other than just being out on the seas, which actually is increased. Loth is displeased. Sorry, was that Hibara? You can jump that. You can throw that in. That's fine. You don't have to just type it. Sorry.
Oh, that's the drow goddess.
Oh, right. Yes.
That's the reason why all the. I was just being silly.
Okay, no, that's good backstory that I didn't have. So yeah, that's their goddess. And so you know that he's kind of like incredibly charming. He's also incredibly unscrupulous. He's not evil like the same way Xanathar is evil. Xanathar is just like you hear is paranoid and will just kill you at the drop of a hat. Jalaxar is much more of Jalaxel, sorry, is much more of a player. He kind of wants to move in certain circles and wield influence. And he's also attracting more and more people, drow to him. So that is kind of like, that kind of links you now with the appearance of drow and the letter J. So, yeah. I think if you're looking for the Brigandarth, they're in town. Well, that's one more player in this game, I'll tell you. A lot of people looking for this stone. Belvar? Still there? Alhana? Oh no! Left, dropped out. Must have been a connection problem. I don't know. Alright, so with that, oh, okay. You're back.
Yeah.
How long were you gone?
Just less than a minute.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So right. So that's what twigs in your mind when he points out the link. Yeah, and I think I had just kicked it back to you for a reaction, and that's when you dropped out.
Yeah, I think I got to. It's not evil like Xanathar.
Oh, okay. He's much more like He's more of a player. He's more of a he's got his own group and he's got his own agenda. But people don't always know what it is. But whereas like the Xanathar, you hire them as assassins and to kill you. That's not exactly what Brigandarth are like. They're more interested. They're mostly based in Luskan. That's where the kind of power base seems to be. And but the appearance of Drow working on behalf of Jarlaxle in Waterdeep, to Mert is trying to kind of convey that this shows very powerful forces are like showing interest in this stone.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Jarlaxle, that's right.
Yeah, that guy is. I trust him as far as I can throw him, but I'll tell you, he's a handsome-looking man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe he's that masculinist activist that broke away from the rest of the Drow, fighting against their termy nonsense of dismissing the trans and non-binary Drow and such. Yes, I remember that now. Yes.
Yeah, we're kind of got a mixed bag with them, because sometimes they'll like work with you when it lies in their interest to do so, But if they're not walking that way, they're not going to go away a mile out of their way to help you, So I mean, the Harpers, we know of them. We have some interactions, but they're certainly not on our high list. Xanathar and other tyrants. That's making sure the Zeds don't this kind of violence in the streets doesn't get out of hand and destabilize the city. That's kind of more our thing.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, this is all good information. You got anything else?
As I say, it's we believe the stone is back in the hands of the Splinter Group right now, and our group is pretty much determined to see it returned, or at least remove it from his control.
Well, you're gonna go after the stone. I'm not gonna stop you. You're a free agent. You can do what you want. You're gonna attract a lot of heat, though. So just watch your back if that's the way you want to go. There's a lot of people with a lot of power getting caught up in this. A lot of money on the line, but if we can help you, we'd rather have it fall into your hands than, the Xanathar. So whatever we can do to help, if you want some backup on a job, you need some muscle, maybe some information, maybe we can help you out, yeah?
Yes, that will be tremendous.
Excellent. It's a real good information to know, too, about the Zents, because, if we can keep them divided, then they'll be weaker. Again, it's kind of like what Jarlaxle does with the pirates. If they're all focused on one goal, they're all powerful. But if they end up sniping at each other, well, then they're too busy with their beefing to create bigger problems. So I think what we should, if you can do more to help with this, division of factions, split them apart, take out some of break them apart and divide and conquer, kind of thing. I think that would be good for us as Harp.
Indeed. I think it would be pretty easy to leverage the, let's call them loyalist Zents, because from what I've had with them, they seem to want the best for the city as much as we do in regards to this splinter group who are just out for themselves, and it should be no problem to live them against the group.
Well, I will agree with you. The Doom Raiders, they're more about business. Their business peace is good for business. Well, except when war is good for business. But they don't want a city with blood flowing in the streets because that just brings more heat on them. But yeah, I know what you mean. The Doom Raiders. I knew some of those guys back in the. They're not all bad. They're not all good either. But yeah.
Indeed.
Well, I think sorry, that's a little too southern. I think you's Orda done some good work here. I'm impressed. People this newer to the game, the fact that you were already talking about the Stone of Golorr, 2 weeks ago, about 10 people in the city knew about that. Seems to be tripling every day or even more. So, just good job. He holds out a big, meaty, hand to shake.
Thelvar slaps his hand into his and gives it a nice hearty shake.
Yes. All right, well, I think we need to do an initiation here so you can get your pin activated.
Yes, that would be brilliant.
So, I'd like you to hold the pin in your right hand. Or what hand do you write with? Or cast spells with?
Right.
All right, when you're right and you're dominant hand. Because that's where you'll be using it. That's where you'll be drawing your strength from. And also, can you put your left hand over your heart like this? And he kind of holds this pose where he's got his, he's not holding his hand up like a fist. It's more sort of like at waist level. And he's got his hand over, that's the wrong one. It's over his heart, over his chest, over the middle of his chest. Sorry. Yes, sir. And repeat after me. No one should be powerless. I swear to help him.
No one should be powerless. I swear to help them.
Too much power leads to corruption. I swear to stop them.
Too much power leads to corruption. I swear to stop them.
Information is power. I swear to gather this power for good.
Information is power. I swear to gather this power for good.
As you say the word good, you feel a tingle in your hand, and as you look down, you can see that there's a little glow now. And you open up your hand, and the pin that you chose last time, is that what happened? You had a pin, but you didn't have it activated?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just wanted to remember correctly for continuity. You can see now that it's got a little bit of a shimmer of light on it, and you can tell that it's sort of been activated. And Mert says, all right, yeah, there you go. As long as you're in good standing with the Harpers, that's for you to work with. You have more information, or if you're looking for more work, or I might be in touch if there's something that I need from you.
Very good.
Well done, Thelvar. Really, really good work. Very impressed.
Glad to be of service.
Please keep it up. All right. Look, and
He's certainly there.
your tea. We left the tea in the dumbwaiter. Oh, do you want me to warm that up? You want to have it warm? You want a to-go cup? You want me to get that to go for you?
Yes, please.
all right.
Does Wilbur still have the bread in his pocket?
No.
I think you've changed trousers from that, at least. So.
But is the bread still in his pocket?
It might still be
No.
in his pocket. Okay, no, took it out.
It was taken out and we had it with the cheese once we got back from...
Oh, right, from the
Last
midnight.
night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ate it with the cheese and your really stiff drink?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so you can head out. You can get your tea to go, and if you want, James is just going to take Clue to the yawning portal and then double back. So if you want to, by the time you have this meeting, you'd only have to wait for a few more minutes before James arrive to collect you, and then head back to the yawning portal in that direction. Right.
Uh-huh.
Clue. James pulls up. There's no queue. You see the taxi ranks, but you don't see Maxine the horse that you saw the other day. And you go into the bar. It's like about 3:00. It's starting to get a bit busy, but at this point, it's still kind of too early in the day to have any really drunk people. When you look around, you don't see Yagra downstairs in her usual spot.
He's gonna just quickly get a beer off the bar and then head upstairs to Davos.
Okay. In Davos, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of, someone can help me. The space of having his, it's like, what do you call it? Booth, but like a covered booth, I guess. Like a covered wagon, but a covered booth. The curtains are pulled back. And you see him, and he's writing on a piece of paper. When you approach him, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
All right.
15.
Yeah, you can see that his brow is furrowed, and his lips are sort of pursed together. Like he doesn't look like he's enjoying what he's writing. He's not very happy about it or what he's reading at the moment. And yes, do you want to make a noise or call out to him before are you sneaking up on him? What would you like to do?
I mean, he's just gonna casually walk up to the table and just knock on the table.
Oh yes, he looks up and goes, "Oh, hey, partner, how you doing? Good. You wanna have a seat?
Sure do.
We need to close these curtains.
Might not be a horrible idea now.
Why don't you go ahead and close the curtains then?"
Yep. He's gonna be closing those curtains.
Okay. Right. So Dabble sort of looks at you as you settle in with your beer. So son, what can I do for you?
Well, actually, it's more what can I do for you? Because I have a Zentera member who wants out. And if we get him out, he's willing to spill the beans.
Well, I do like some beans. What kind of beans are we talking about?
I mean,
beans, green beans, brown beans, black. No, sorry, I'm just being silly.
Pinto, black eye, beans and rice. Ooh.
I'm talking full-on Intel beans.
All right. Well, I mean, this is good news. Can always use eyes on the inside, that's for sure. So what are the terms and conditions here? What's he offering? What's the quid pro quo? And also, before we even start with what the details are, I want you to tell me what you think of him and why.
Well, Charlie, he seems like the honest sort.
Is he a human?
No, he's an alpha orc.
Okay.
I trust his him to tell the truth about his backstory at the very least. He went to Waterdeep looking for money, and then, as people probably know, if you're looking for money, the jobs you get tend to get shadier and shadier. Until, well, they start blackmailing you with the jobs you did before to get you to do other jobs.
Oh, classic Xanathar move.
Uh-huh. So I honestly believe Harry wants out. I'm not dumb, so I won't be telling him any of our secrets anytime soon, but I think we can trust him for now at the very least.
Well, what kind of intel can he bring in for how long?
Well, currently he is working with them to try and find Floxen, so he's probably getting intel about that at the very least.
Suddenly, you see his eyes brighten up and he leans forward. He's now very interested in this.
I mean, as far as I know, they don't really have that much of a lead on him, considering they're placing people on every district. As they learn more, they might play it through to him.
And that is interesting.
The thing is, until we get him out, we're gonna have a hard time getting that info from him. So it's gonna be a bit of a play between getting him out so we get the information and keeping him in so he can get the information to give us.
All right, let me think. So you see Davil, he's like, just give me a second. And leans back. You take this time to take a sip of your beer for something to do. Sort of tapping his finger. He's looking, 1,000-mile stare. You can see the cogs going in his brain. Doesn't move his head, but he moves his eyes. He looks at you and says, "How's your place work for a safe house if needs be?"
I mean, it should work. We've got some people always there to watch out for trouble. I mean, as soon as it opens, it's busy enough that you can't really start shit there. So, it's good enough to keep somebody a couple of days at the very least.
All right, Clue, I'm just going to level with you because you've been diligent, shown initiative, and you've hustled. You brought me an insider. There is a lot of heat on us right now because of Urstel Floxen. That's why I was particularly interested in any information this guy could bring about, because the sooner we can take care of that situation, get him out of town or get him arrested by the city watch or whatever, it would be better. The problem with getting him out is he want a job somewhere inside the Waterdeep Doom Raiders?
Nope, he wants out of the city. So, I mean, we have plenty of legal jobs who can shovel some freight somewhere else.
Yeah, it's more getting them on the right boats and paying the right people and paying the right bureaucrats. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that, we could find a way to kickstart this with... Starts to, add things up in his head, counting on his fingers. I don't know, 300-400 gold go a long way. Right now, we're not able to move our assets as much. Yeah, I want to do what I can. So, run with this. We will start working on our end, looking for different ways to get him connected someplace else. But until this heat is off of us, we're not going to have much. There's no... the pirates wouldn't run Zents right now because they would attract attention of certain people who are on the lookout. So if he can be your main contact, you filter out whatever information that you think is important, but anything to do with Urstel Floxen, you got to get me a message as soon as you can. What was I going to say? If he needs to go to ground, if he has to be, if they make him, if he gets his cover blown before he's actually ready to be yanked out, and I'm going to need you to be his first point of contact for a safe house until we can make other arrangements. Right now, our safe houses are kind of on the full side with people avoiding being pulled in by the police. hopefully give this another couple days. They'll lose their focus if Erstal stays head below the parapet, so to speak. They might just be distracted with something else. But I need a couple of days of breathing, a week at least, ideally. So if anything goes sideways in the next week, you've got to be his first point of contact. That also means if his cover is blown, you might have Xanathar people coming for you. If you do, you can get me a message, but you might want to look to your own security if you're going to agree to do that.
Fair point. But I'm not scared of Xanathar, at least not yet.
Not yet being the operative phrase in that sentence.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a single guy used to protect some warehouse. Don't think you're gonna send their best man after him. At the very least, I don't hope.
Yeah. Only thing about the Xanathar is we hear he's terrible paranoid. So he can't hold a grudge for ridiculous reasons for a ridiculous amount of time. But, on the other hand, there are people that disappear he probably doesn't even notice, so... But I'm just saying, if you want to take this on, I'll back your play. But I want you to understand that you are the first point of contact here. You're going to be responsible for his safety until we can make arrangements, which won't be for a week at least.
Yep. He's my contact, my responsibility. Only makes sense.
He holds out a hand and says, Clue, I sure do enjoy working with you.
Same. Shakes his hand.
I like people who take away drama out of my life. Oh, not like Ingrid. Oh, God. Anyway, that'll be another story for another day.
Yeah. Over a drink, maybe.
Absolutely. Hey, keep your head down. Yeah?
Yeah, will do. We'll make sure to get this flux hunting under control as clean as possible.
Yeah. Sooner that guy gets disassociated from our group and out of circulation, making us trouble, coming at us, better. Yeah, can you go ahead and close those curtains up still when you leave?
Okay, will do. Have fun with your business.
Fuck you, son. He says with a smile.
just kind of chuckles as he walks out.
Yeah. He knows you're breaking his policies. Or being a little bit snarky. Okay, yeah. So, you also, by the time you have this conversation, you have to wait a little bit, but eventually you see James. He's like, "Hey," waves at you now, and Thelvar, and they're both in the cart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I do like how Clue ends up taking care of all of these wayward beings. He's taken over taking care of quote unquote Hibara and Mara, and now he has Jelly.
It's very weird that Clue somehow became the responsible adult of this group.
Okay. So, yeah, Hibara, you are heading down near Kolot Tower in the southern ward. And you're heading back over to Falconmere. And now I have to get out an entirely different set of notes. Which, if I had been smart, I would put in the faction tab. How smart was Kristi? Franchise notes. Which one is this? Nope, that's the curse. I got all kinds of notes here. Nope.
This is why Mara's not affiliated with anything.
All kinds of dramas going on. Yeah.
To make your life so much easier. It's just Mara's just I'm here to just cause trouble.
Yes. Alright, so yes, you arrived to the same location that you were at before. The same Falconmere manor, and it's absolutely lush. While everything else in the city is following the sort of natural patterns, and there is some autumn, turning that's going on, there's also a part of this grounds that just feel like it's full of life, and it's always sort of rich and blooming and evergreen, unless maybe a frost comes, in which case that might break it off. But otherwise, it's always a bit like walking into a gorgeous forest or jungle or some sort of very lush natural place as you go through. When you arrive, you see... Oh, wait. Yeah, it's you see the same person you saw before. I can't look up their name, but this time he tells you to go into the gardens, which you're a little bit surprised about because there's already quite a lot of nature. But this time there seems to be almost like a glasshouse enclosure. And when you walk in there, it's just almost pulsing with natural energy and calm and oneness. You could kind of like feel, you could just, if you listened a little bit harder, you could hear a river rushing, even though you're nowhere near a river. And it just feels very beautiful. You hear a voice in your head saying, "Hello, Hibara. I'm Jareth Falcon. I would like to thank you for listening to me and appreciate you coming. I think this job is especially well suited for you. You see, there's a necromancer stealing bones in the city of the dead. He's animating them as skeletons. And there's a night watchman who's asked for help. The Enclave are the only ones who will take his claim seriously and his pleas seriously. I'm going to ask you to talk to him at your earliest convenience. His name is Losser Merklav." And you just sort of like hear that voice in your head.
I roll perception to see if she sees like a bird in here.
You don't see anything no, you don't see any birds in particular. There are worms and other stuff. But you don't get the sense that she's she is with you there physically. It feels like the voice is just permeates in your mind.
Where am I supposed to find this farmer? Guard?
Guard, yes. He is going to be staking out the City of the Dead every night. He's tried it for a week already and has had no success. Came to us because he thought that maybe we would be sympathetic given the abominations of just taking what is dead and meant to be renewed and reanimating it for personal selfish purposes, not letting the dead be dead. Given how well you did with the scarecrows, I thought that this might be an opportunity. You would be a good person to turn to.
And this necromancer is animating the whole corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the feet.
Nope, taking full skeletons and then animating.
Mm-hmm.
This is Thriller.
Attacking anyone with these skeletons?
Well, to be fair, if you wanted to do more than just go in and bash skeletons, if you wanted to investigate who this necromancer is, he or she or they, what they might be up to, what their motives are, there would be a greater reward.
Mm-hmm. And you have no other information on who this spellcaster is or who they might be affiliated with?
No, all we have is the report of the watchman who's been trying to take care of this on his own. So he's been doing it for about a week, came to us 2 days ago, and I sent on a message to you.
Okay. I can look into this.
Excellent.
And deal with it.
Now, when you were last here, did you get a charm of restoration? From Melanor, my gardener, groundskeeper.
No.
Oh, well, we'll have to fix that. Can you hold out your hand, please?
She does.
So in your hand first manifests an enamel green leaf. It can be whatever leaf you want. Oak, whatever, pine. No, that's not a leaf, that's a leaf. Which has got green enamel and sort of gold setting. She says, that's your marker as a operating member of the Enclave. But, yes, if you look in Supernatural Gifts in Chapter 7 of the Dungeon Master's, There is a charm of restoration, which I will grant you for your service in the past and also for the work that you will be doing to help right the wrongs of nature by doing this job for us in the Enclave. Wrong book. So I can look that up if you want and describe it to you. But give me a yes. So, Hibara, you're okay to do that?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, it's not time sensitive. This guy, the watchman Losser Merklev has been doing this for a week already. So there's no. If you want to go tonight, tomorrow night, next week, I think he's just going to appreciate help at any time. If it was time sensitive and urgent, I would tell you. And even though it is an abomination, I have a feeling that there are other things in the city that you might need to do before you do this. So feel free. He might have solved the problem by the time you get around to it, but take that job when you have time for it. I shouldn't even look it up in the book. I should just look it up online. So.
I looked it up.
Yeah,
I know what it does.
Yeah, you want to read it out for the party just so then they know.
A charm of restoration has 6 charges, and you can use 4 of them to cast greater restoration, or 2 of them to cast lesser restoration.
So, in case you run into any nasty stuff, you don't have to worry about components or anything else. You bam. Well, thank you for your work, and if you would like to stay here in the garden and use its peace and quiet, you are certainly welcome to do.
Okay. What's in the garden, Kristi? What kind of plant?
Sure. There's a lot of, let's say, what is the name for the? Of course, I go to reach for the name and it disappears. Not hyacinth. Yes, maybe like those kind of. There's also some palm trees. There are other kinds of there's a whole kind of range of bushes and trees and shrubbery. So, are you looking for trees or plants or shrubbery?
Fruit-bearing plants.
Oh, sure. There's holly. If you want to take some holly berries.
I mean, that would be a bad idea.
Actually, what is goodberry the component? Isn't it a holly berry?
It's any berries, but it needs a sprig of holly if you don't have a focus.
Oh, okay, that's why, because I also have goodberry. So I knew that had something to do with holly. That's where the connection was. Did you want to take a sprig of holly with you in case you don't ever have any berries?
No. She's looking around to see if there's any sort of plant that she might transplant.
Oh, okay.
Into her garden.
Let's see. What kind of characteristics of plants would she be interested in?
Well, she'd be looking for a berry plant of some sort.
Okay.
And preferably a berry plant of some sort.
Go ahead and do me a nature roll or investigation, whichever you prefer. See how much of it you find.
What about survival?
Yeah, that works too. I think all of those are reasonably tentative. Yes. You find actually that there is next to a blackberry bush, there is the start of another blackberry bush that is where the seeds have fallen from last year, and it's had a little time to mature where its root system wouldn't be too delicate. You think that you could sort of scoop around and put it in one of your bags and it would be fine until you got home.
Okay. So she'll take the little sapling then.
Okay. Yep, it's yours. Put it in your inventory. I don't know what that weighs.
Joyce got nuts now.
Yes. All right, so that is all set. Is there anything else that you'd like to do while you're there?
No, she'll leave after that, but on the way back, she'll want to go through the City of the Dead.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Is she going to wild shape and go through, or you want to go walk through, or you want to wait for James to take you?
She'll just walk through,
okay.
Look around.
So
take a lay of the land, see all what's there.
Yeah, sure. You can take the highward basically straight up into the trade ward, and then kind of like cut over through to the City of the Dead, which is open during the day, but not at night. And yeah, do you like want to do a proper investigation now, or you just want to get a lie of the land? Correct.
I guess she'd be looking for like evidence of the damage done and like where stuff has happened, basically.
Okay, it's a pretty big place. So what I'll say is roll me a D100, and I will give you. I'll do a percentage. I'll tell you. Like I think 10%. If you get. I would say so 0 to 10, not 93. Sorry, I was thinking low. So you don't see anything, but you also don't not see anything. You know, there's nothing there that you would point to as a location. But on the other hand, you also think that maybe if the city thought that there was a problem with someone doing necromancy, they wouldn't leave it unattended, and they might cover it up by this time in the day if they'd found it in the morning, kind of thing.
Okay.
Getting to be about, I guess, 4, 5 o'clock at this point. So you guys all end up back at the tavern. Bara, I think, is the last one to arrive. Mara, what have you, since Gorko was out with Thelvar? Oh, with Thelvar and Gorko had to go shopping. Well, we forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to go back to the tavern and collect, like, Gorko would probably want Mara to come, and for the three of you to, like, do Happy Families and go down to the bookshop.
God.
So, yeah, it's like, oh, can we go now, please? Can we go now, please, before it shuts? It's gonna shut at 6 o'clock and it's 5:30. Can we go now, please?
Yes, of course we can.
Mara was like taking a nap on like one of the skis or whatever.
Yeah, the downstairs couches. Yeah, they're really comfortable, and the carpenters are upstairs working, so you definitely wouldn't want to be in the upper levels. So you are on the very plush couch. Absolutely.
And like the Bob set a fire, and
Yep.
like I have like a hot toddy, and I'm
Yeah.
just like curled up in a little ball.
Absolutely.
Like, right now, that's kind of what my dream is. I wish I had a fireplace
Yeah.
and not a dog.
Like
Wait.
Liv is making you sort of like, you know, like spicy autumn kind of alcoholic things to drink, test out on you.
No, there's no alcohol in it. It's
Oh, okay.
literally just
Apple?
lemon and no, there's not even lemon. It's just lemon and honey.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
just sitting there going,
All right, very good. Yeah, so but Gorko definitely wants to go next door. He definitely wants to pick out a spell. Please.
And he like walks over and he's just like tapping me on the tapping Mara on the nose. Like, wake up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're gonna bite me. Wake up. Wake up.
I bring you coffee every morning. Please buy me a spell.
All right,
I mean, I'll bring. Yay! Thelvar said that we could get a spell, and there's even a sale. It's like 20% off, so it costs even less.
20% off. That's not a fucking sale. All right, I'm up. I'm like, no, I'm not. But okay.
Yeah.
Mara's just like dragging ass, gets up and just.
Yes, you.
Stop judging me.
He's pulling on your arm. Like, faster, murder mama! Come on, murder mommy, let's go.
Like, you don't understand. Like I'm making like these moaning, groaning noises, and Regulus is legit just looking at me like
confused,
like judging me. I don't need it from you two. I'm getting it from my other child in this game. Okay, I'm awake. All right, let's go.
So the three of you bound into the dusk of this autumn evening. Off to the Bookworm Treasure, run by Rishel the Page Turner, who is kind of like doing the sort of end of the day things. He's pulling in the books from the sidewalk, you know, that had been on display. And he sees you, he gives you all a wave, and you get closer. He says, "Oh, hello, neighbors. How wonderful it is to see you. Miss Mara, you owe me a book, I think."
I do.
You told me you were going to tell me a tale. I have not forgotten.
I will tell you a tale. Wait, how does that song go? It's a whale of a tale I know. The Swiss Family Robinson theme song.
Like all three other are just staring at you. Like this is I'm playing this out as this is happening in game. You're doing this in character, and you're on the sidewalk in Waterdeep, going, "Oh, it's the Swiss Family Robinson."
Swiss Family Robinson
Story of a man named Jed.
No, it starts with it's like I'll tell you a tale. It's a whale of a tale I know. Something. I don't know.
Well, what can I do for
R&D
you?
was right. I should have been a bird.
So
I'm still working on which story I'm going to tell you. I haven't decided if it's going to be Caesar just burning the Library of Alexandria, Napoleon trying to invade Russia, Germany trying to invade Russia, Germany trying to invade Russia a second time, or Russia trying to blow up the world. I haven't decided which one.
I'm a very large fan of the fantasy genre, so whichever you choose, Ms. Mara, it'll be most fascinating. I'm sure your world-building skills will be beyond belief. I believe almost that this world exists, if it could just jump off the page at me.
You've killed Kelsey.
So what can I do for the two of you this evening?
There's three of us.
Yeah, you, Gorko, and Thelvar.
You said two of us.
No, I said three.
No, you said two.
Okay, well, I meant three. In my head, I said three. Does that count?
Don't worry. I've been hearing things all week, so it's fine.
Yes. Our little friend here is a budding arcane archer.
Oh.
And yes, I'm teaching him the tricks of the trade, as it were.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, indeed. And I think he's got his heart set on a new spell scroll.
Oh, well, come on in. We have a sale on. It's ending today. You're just in time. Gives Gorko a wink. And Gorko goes rushing in. He opens the door and Gorko goes rushing in, goes straight for the spell list. He says, he sometimes dawdles outside the window and looks over the spell lists, and I kind of had an idea you guys would be stopping by. Please come in. It's getting cold out and certainly dark. My business here, my office's bookshop is warm and well lit. So, yes, spells for sale. Well, are you looking for a particular range of spells or a range of costs associated with the spells? How should I organize this information for you? Sort of looks at Mara and Thelvar more than Gorko here. There's a 25 gold pieces range, a 75, a 150, a 300, and a 700.
Well, he's still a beginner, so I think we'll go for something, I would say, beginner friendly, but that looks flashy for the poor thing.
Nice. Well, we do have Feather Fall. Impressive if you use it right. There's a Detect Magic. There's a Magic Missiles spell scroll here. Also Shield and Unseen Servant. These are, well, that and Find Familiar and Comprehend Languages are all in the 25 gold pieces category. Going up from there to 75, there's Arcane Lock, continual flame, dark vision. I don't think you'll need dark vision, friend, and invisibility. I think we're maybe starting to get a little farther up where he can reasonably be expected to start with a spell scroll. So, did any of those sound of interest?
How about magic missile, Gorko? How does that sound to you?
How does it work? What does it do?
You create these little magical arrows that will instantly seek your targets.
Has he seen those before? Has anyone cast magic missile in this group?
Yeah.
No.
First time we met him, like the first spell of our cast was a magic missile.
That's true.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, did you aim it at him? No, you aimed it at the other thing, right? You didn't shoot it at him.
I tend to worm.
Right, okay. So yes, you guys recall that memory for him, and his eyes gets wide. He's like, I want to be like Clue. He looks at Thelvar, he's like, I want to be like you too. And he's like, of course I want to be like my murder mama. I want to be like the best mix of all of your skills and weirdness. He smiles.
Except Hibara.
He's already too close to being turning into a bar. He has a human finger on him on a regular basis. He's already a step too close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that in his inventory, by the way? Finger bone from
Yes.
previous friend? Or like
Yes.
I'll add it to his character sheet.
Alright, well, I am happy to copy this out and have it for you. Oh, you can't wait a moment, can you? Gorko's just like, please. Like, very well. I can get a copy from my friend. You take the original. That's all right. I'll be okay without it. And that's a 20% off. Oh, let's say round down for our student discount, and that will be 20 gold pieces.
Yes. Here you go.
Right, yes, he takes the money and puts it discreetly into his little cash register thing underneath, and he takes the scroll and he kind of puts it in a special piece of paper, and he ties it, he crumples it at the end to keep it bound, and he ties the ends off with a little bit of string, because he's not going to give you a spell scroll slot holding thing. That's too expensive, but he wants to make it special. He gets that this is really big deal for Gorko, and kind of want to makes it a bit like a present. And he says, okay, now little sir, please put your hands out so that you can receive the scroll properly. And he sort of shows how to do it, like you're kind of like holding something up with two hands in front of you, like you're displaying something on a rack, or what I'm doing, imagine that you're holding a cake and you're trying to show people the top of the cake. What I'm thinking, right? Put your hands together. And so Gorko's little hands go over the counter, and he's just about, he can reach comfortably, but yes. And Rissal sort of gently places it in his hands. The power is now with you. Gorko just closes his hands around the scroll. He looks so excited. It's a big smile, and he first looks at the shop owner. He says, thank you so much for my magic. And then he looks at you, Mara and Thelvar. He's like, thank you so much for my magic. I promise I'll use it responsibly, and I won't miss, and I'll help save the party.
I'm sure you will, my little friend.
All right, let's go home. You can help me over dinner. Can we read at the dinner table, Murder Mama?
Sure. Why not?
Yay!
How I'm going to tell the story of why Germany invading Russia for a second time was a stupid idea.
Okay, you can tell me. I love fantasy stories. What's world building?
It's when God turned on a light and just went click, and there everything was. He created the world in 7 days. That's all you need to worry about.
Okay. All right, he's just happy about his magic now. He's like, okay, murder mama. And he's like, Hudson. You guys head back to the tavern.
Mara just goes, whew. I don't know how to explain that. One, this isn't fantasy. And two, how do I explain that eons and eons of world building and the Big Bang and explosions?
Belvar kind of walks back with as Mars having this conversation by herself, but Belvar's getting used to it at this point, so he's just listens. Yes, so you guys get back. Everyone is, surprisingly, you guys are all there, like, for dinner time. I don't know the last time you guys weren't out super late. I think it was pizza night. Tonight it's another Italian night. It's going to be pasta night. And so Gorko, though, is a little too excited to spend time with the Bobs. He first wants to at least have Belvar take him through the scroll one time. Now, before we... so what I was thinking now is there's one more thing I want to touch on, but I don't want to railroad this session into, like, the next thing that I want to do. So I'm going to kick it back to you guys between, like, you know, dinner and bedtime. Is there anything you want to do? You want to read anything? You want languages? You want to visit anyone? Have a conversation? I mean, you guys actually probably should role play that, actually. So why don't I let you guys catch up over dinner? Boom, scene. We open on fade to the ye old haunt. You guys are sat around the table. There are empty bowls, bulging stomachs, a mix of water, wine, and beer. Except for Clue, you're drinking that Luskin beer, which is really good. You really have gotten a taste for this pirate beer now. And the Bobs, it's going to be time where they take their, you know, their evening stuff upstairs. They play a mean game of, I don't know, chess or something every night. So they disappear into the kitchen, and Jarvis is there, but Jarvis is sort of making sounds and sort of moves to leaving. Did you want Jarvis to leave for this part of the conversation? If you guys want to do this, I mean, I'm just giving you the chance, but I thought it would be a good idea for you guys to plan your information. But do you want Jarvis there or not?
I mean, he's just upstairs.
Well, everyone ate dinner at the table together. So all of you were, there's 2, Jarvis, Gorko, and you 4. So those are like 8 people who have dinner now together. The Bobs had left, but Jarvis hadn't. So I wanted to know whether or not you guys want to have conversations in front of Jarvis, which you can. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just want to kind of make that more explicit and then suddenly Jarvis pops up with, so, you know, I want to know how much you want to keep them involved.
I mean, Hibara would immediately turn to Belvar, like, pretty much as soon as he sat down.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Like, Belvar, I think I have a lead to that woman who cursed your family.
Oh, really?
Yes, maybe.
Guys,
Well, it's something.
guys really are obsessed with Eowyn, aren't you?
She just stares at Clue.
I'm sorry, obsessed with what?
Eowyn.
Yes, well, I'm more obsessed with getting rid of this darn curse.
Exactly.
I mean, you are talking. Sure, those two were related, but okay.
So, what is this lead you have?
Well, there's someone who is stealing dead people from the city's graveyard and doing necromancy things with them.
Necromancy in the city of the dead? I will not stand for that.
No fighting in the war room.
All those poor people. Yes, they can be a pest sometimes, but I will not have someone interfering with their bodies.
Not all of them are poor people. Some of them are rich people. Others are probably dancing with Satan. So,
Well, I'm pretty sure they're all dead people.
Yes, I don't mean poor in that sense. I mean poor as in unfortunate to have been Yes.
Poor unfortunate soul.
That's what I thought of too.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
In
Would
fact,
probably explain why they were bugging me so much while I was still staying regularly at the house.
in fact, if you wanted after you finished eating, we could go talk to the guy who knows more.
Yes, that definitely seems like a plan to me.
It's not finding us Floxen. Well, guess we're stuck on that one.
I mean, what if the person responsible is also related to that guy?
Doubt it, but sure.
Well, do you have any leads on where to find Floxen Clue?
Nope. I mean, Jolly might know something, but I doubt it.
We should reduce the amount of time we spend with him just so it doesn't seem too suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, definitely shouldn't be going out drinking to get it that much for sure.
Wasn't thinking that, but sure.
But yes, rest assured, as soon as we have information regarding Floxen, I am very much down to track that scoundrel down.
Put some chips in now. We got a boys. The boss is on a roll. The one to see that the whole entire time. I'm sorry.
Is necromancy that is it a big deal in this city?
Controlling the undead, and yes, it's very much a big deal. I mean, the art of necromancy in and of itself isn't necessarily a problem, but when you're creating undead and releasing them and using them for nefarious deeds, then yes, that very much is a problem.
This is Thriller.
He's off on the Little Mermaid. Okay.
Well, I've been wanting to do Thriller ever since we've mentioned the undead. So,
okay.
Again, I apologize. This is just where my brain lives.
I mean, guess it's a sensible thing to go and deal with. It's.
We could start a dance party with the undead. It'd be fun. Michael Jackson did it once.
So what time would you guys like to go?
Well, Habara suggested when we were finished up here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So did you have more conversation, or have you guys pretty much? I just want to I want to have you guys role play it out. But if you reach a decision, then so you guys ready to move on?
Move on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrap up with dinner. Are you guys gonna do you need anything in your rooms? Do you have to get anything, or are you carrying all your weapons and everything on you to take everything, or do you want to pack up for this? Check your gear.
I think I have everything.
I mean, Habara always has everything she owns.
All right. You guys. Oh, was Jarvis still there? Otherwise, you can talk to the Bobs about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna say. I've never had to correct anyone's pronouns before because I'm a cis woman. So, it's not part of my world, but I should say they, because I feel like it's appropriate. Yeah. So, they make arrangements, and it's Parker this time. You guys go into the cart, and Habara, I would like you to make a perception roll.
The whole entire time we're on the way to.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Hold that thought. Habara, as you guys are pulling away from the tavern, you see what you are certain is the drow that you had the conversation with last night. They're not, so he is standing a little farther up Trollskull Alley. He's not in front of the tavern. He's probably, like 80 or 90 feet down the street, but he's not trying to hide, and your eyes meet as you are driven away.
So that's as like we leave?
Yeah, as the cart is pulling away and down the street, kind of look back and you see him. He's just standing there.
Then she's gonna use prestidigitation to write the word later just on the wall, like, so obviously so that he'd see it.
Oh, okay. So you're writing it on the tavern wall?
I mean, just the wall that we're passing, I guess, since I see him as we're leaving.
So you write that, and then what do you do after you're finished writing it? I guess I'm wondering, like, do you look back at him? Do you...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you see that when you turn back, he's been watching what you're doing, and you sort of like motion at the wall as you disappear into the darkness of the streetlight, dimly lit streetlight, and you see him sort of like start to take a step forward, like he's going to check out what you've...
All right.
And I think we're going to leave it there. On that, this seems a good mystery. I'm liking this, leaving it on a cliffhanger. It was fun last week. So, what does he want? What's going to happen? Yeah. So I think that's 3 hours. So we'll leave it there until next time.
Fair enough.
Well,
hey, wake up.
And what was Mara going to do while you guys were trundling down the street?
I'm singing Thriller.
So to this tune of this very strange song that Mara is singing from her homeland, you can only assume. You're
from her homeland. Like, it's just like, what? Where the hell is she coming up with all these weird ass songs?
Yes, and the cart pulls away. So we'll start off with, it sounds like, a little bit of an investigation. We'll see where that goes, and then a mystery to come home to, possibly. A bar.
Oh, she's also doing the Thriller dance, showing off her new gloves.
I pictured her, honestly, in the back of the cart, absolutely. That's how I pictured it. Like, Thelvar and Clue might have been kind of in the front, but Hibara and Mara would have like sort of hopped in the back to sort of, lounge on the blankets a little bit, and then Mara would just shoot up, be like, "It's after midnight, something evil's lurking in the dark." And then she takes off one glove and put it in her pocket, and she does the next line.
And then put like, "This is Thriller." And it's just like the claw hands.
Yeah, she's doing the zombie bit. And that is a lovely mental image of Waterdeep.
Yep. Like, I totally plan on doing that the whole entire time we're in the graveyard. That or Cranberry Zombie. Yeah, that's right. I know exactly where we're going. If we're going to be dealing with zombies, I'm going to be singing songs that pertain to zombies.
Well, come back next week for that entertaining part of the battle, the combat, because we're going, zombie, zombie, eh, eh. And then she's like, and then I swing my sword, or I swing my staff, or I do my... you have unarmed, and then I do an unarmed punch, or a flurry of blows. While I'm singing.
I can't use my sword yet. I have a sword, I just can't use it yet.
Okay, yes.
While up in the front seats, Thelvar turns to Claire and is like, "How on earth did we get lumbered with these two?"
What are you complaining about? I made the distraction.
She's dancing in the cart, like, I made the distraction. Oh, Gorko is with you guys
Twice
too,
now.
by the way.
Mara, I have to admit, you are distracting.
Excellent. Oh, by the way, is Gorko with you guys?
No. We're not bringing Gorko to a graveyard. Murder Mama draws the line at bringing babies to graveyards.
But he could have learned things.
Nope. Graveyards are spooky.
All right, he's really excited about his scroll, even though he can't read a word of it yet. So he's not so disappointed because that gives him more time with his. So he's contented.
Well, I'd say over dinner, Thelvar taught him the first phrase.
Ah, yes, he's practicing it.
Mm-hmm.
So join us for people in YouTube land. Join us next week. We pick up on our cliffhanger. And until next time, thank you for watching and stopping by, and thank you to the party for being such good sports. Goodbye from me, and goodbye from the party! Say goodbye, party!
Bye! Regulus, I'm not going anywhere.
That's the bit.